She the queen, yeah, that's Queen Esquire. Legal trouble, she getting you out the fire. Another dame, she solving another case. Cause she litigate with dignity and grace. She the queen, yeah, that's Queen Esquire. Legal trouble, she getting you out the fire. Another dame, she solving another case. Cause she litigate with dignity and grace.
Hello, litigators and opinionators. Court is now in session. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, Delana. Good morning, all the people in the chat. We have a lot to get through today about the Shanquella Robinson case. So I'm going to go through everything today. First thing I want to really delve into is just some clarifications about the fight that happened, I believe last week, with the Cabo Six, in particular, the ladies involved in this tragedy. There were some allegations released about that I want to talk about, that a YouTuber has talked about on his page, and I wanted to share that with you guys so you guys can give your opinions on that. Also, I want to delve into the division that I am kind of noticing between the family related to the father versus the mother and the sister. I just see that there is kind of like a separate justice that they're pursuing individually. Finally, we are going to delve deeply into the conference that happened this Friday, May 19th. The family and their attorneys met with the White House, in particular, the representatives of Kamala Harris and President Biden, and they laid out clearly the facts as it pertains to this tragedy, and they are trying to get the judicial system to follow the extradition process. I'm not trying to be negative Nancy, but I'm just going to state that in that extradition process, one of the requirements is that once the case is sent to the magistrate has to evaluate the evidence and the value thereof and determine whether or not they feel it's sufficient evidence to constitute a crime. And because the FBI has already indicated that they don't think there is sufficient evidence, and because the state prosecutor has indicated that they don't think there's sufficient evidence, there is more likely not going to be an extradition based upon murder, in my humble opinion. But I am appreciative that the family is continuing the fight, because as they mentioned in this conference, which we will delve into, and I'll give my reaction, we'll talk about it. We just want to have a discussion about it as opinionators and litigators. There is an issue with that although they are continuing to keep the fight and keep going, and we need to keep this loud and clear, the concern is that I don't really see the White House doing anything, guys. I'm not trying to be negative Nancy. I'm just keeping it honest, real, giving my objective legal opinion. And again, let me make a disclaimer. Everything mentioned in this video is allegations only and opinions and for entertainment purposes only. And I am not providing any legal advice whatsoever. I'm not anyone's attorney. If you need legal advice, please contact an attorney in your jurisdiction. Let's get into this information. Before we really delve into each component, good morning, all my lovely subscribers. I love all of you very dearly. But let's first talk a little bit about just a brief update, because we're going to go and look at all the conference, y'all, that happened, the news conference. But I want to just look at some of the social media stuff I'm seeing online with the mother, the sister of Shanquella, and the attorney, Sue Ann. So this was a post from attorney Sue Ann on her page. She just gave kind of a synopsis of what happened Friday. And what she said is, today, Shanquella Robinson's family pleas were heard. The pain and facts they lived with for the past 200 days were shared in the White House. In the room, Dr. King negotiated the Civil Rights Act on Malcolm X's birthday. We are with the family until justice for Shanquella. As Attorney Crump says, don't just hear our words, watch our team's actions. And that's what it is. We need more numbers too, more people to go out and fight. But let's just look at this video that she provided here. She said, power concedes nothing without demand. Our works is to make the demands. And here you can see they have this. This is an actual live video of them meeting with let me see if there's music. Okay, never mind. That's music. I can't play that music. But this video here, you will see that they actually posted a live clip from them having that meeting with the representatives of the president and Kamala Harris. Now, Kamala Harris has been straight silent. I don't understand why she has not come out and at least acknowledged this family's pain. I feel like there's a lot of passive conduct on as it relates to this particular administration. There is a lack of directly addressing issues that are presented to them. They kind of seem to be very passive and hide behind their offices. And here's a live video. They don't really come out and they don't address things head on. They have told the family that they're going to look into it. Guys, I'm just being honest with you guys. I don't see them doing anything about this. I see them coming back with the same result because the state attorney has already given its opinion. And in order for the ball to run, there's certain departments that have to all be in agreement. This case flows through a systematic pattern in various departments as it relates to extradition. And early on in this case, I went through those stages, and you'll have to watch that video. It's been several months ago, y'all. We talked about extradition. And the problem is it reached a stagnant stage because FBI and state attorney has said there is insufficient evidence. That's where the stagnation has occurred. And because that has happened, that means the case cannot move forward to the magistrate for the magistrate to look at and issue an arrest warrant, because the magistrate would likely make the same decision, because the magistrate can't hear a case unless the prosecutor files the petition. And the prosecutor is refusing to do that because there is no evidence, sufficient evidence in their opinion. And also, I want to acknowledge, too, during this news conference that happened yesterday, well, now 2 days ago, Friday, y'all, some of the representatives have acknowledged very, very slightly that they are aware of this beating or the fight that happened with the Cabo Six. So this is being confirmed by some of the people involved at the news conference, that they were aware of some social media posts about Dejanay, Elise Hyatt, Winter Donovan, and Joya being involved in a fight at a club. So there was some confirmation somewhat. It wasn't directly stated, but when you hear what he says, you can tell he was slightly indirectly addressing it, and kind of in a way, in a celebratory, classy way. He said it in that he's saying, even though the judicial system is refusing to take its actions, they're basically kind of implying other actions or other people in the community will try to take action. Now, in my opinion, and as I've stated, I do not condone any form of violence. I don't think any type of retaliation, and we don't want to see somebody else getting harmed because of this. What we want to see is legal justice in the criminal system, in the court, where it should be handled. But they're just acknowledging that they're aware of it, and that they're saying that if the system doesn't work as it should, then other people are going to be enraged and take their own matters in their own hand. That's why we have the legal system in the first place, to prevent situations like this where people try to take the matter into their own hands. Now, let's kind of look at this social media real quick, guys, before we get, because I really want to kind of go into a lot of the updates of this case, because there's a lot. So here you can see on the attorney's page, she posted a lot of different things. She posted this here too. She said, morning co-counsel and everyone down to the State Department. This was just Friday. We are on what we are on. Get out the way, extradite. And here you can see Shanquella's sister put her hearts in her acknowledgement here. You can see other people saying, say that. People are still, supporting the cause. Here, she just pinned, this is old. Here, this is another post that was posted. It says, the whole team is on what we are on, and that's, we are not letting up. We shout out to sister in the law, social justice advocate, Raynard Rayford, link in bio. And here is the article here. They said, come on, Sue Ann, thank you all for justice. Determined, I believe, is what you used. And here she posted the article that she did in Essence. So Essence has done an article on this recently that she is showing us that has some pretty good enlightenment on what's going on in the case. So that is pretty good. Let's see if we can kind of go. It's just, I don't even know if I want to go into the article, but you guys can see it here. And you guys can go to her link to talk about that because they have done that article. Now, I want to go just look at the mom's posts too, because again, I want to give you guys updates on everything that's going on. And then we'll get to the conference eventually. Here, the press conference eventually. Here, I just want to look at some of the stuff Mom has been posting. And Mom has really been going through a lot, guys. Mom has said in the conference that she is not able to sleep. They're barely able to work. They're literally deteriorating inside. They're just like falling apart, and they have lost hope in our country. They've lost hope in our administrative leaders. They have lost hope in the legal system and in justice. They're just really falling apart. In the family, you can see there is a slight division and tension that I want to cover before I talk about the press conference. But let's look at some of the posts Mom has been posting lately. Here, Mom has said, a beautiful soul, great memories. Here, reflecting on her daughter. Literally, there's nothing else that Shanquella's mom and sister can really focus on but this case, guys. There's nothing. Their life is on hold, and it's been on hold since Shanquella died. And it's so sad that Shanquella had no protection in Cabo. She was not protected by anyone, and she still has no protection in the legal system. Everyone around her, besides her family and the legal support team, has failed this young lady. Completely failed her in so many ways. It is so horrific. It's so sad to see this because this young lady is not able to rest in peace. She cannot rest in peace because of this situation happening and no justice. But I tell you one thing, she saw what happened just last week with the Cabo 6 girls that got in that fight, and she probably was smiling, unfortunately. I'm just saying, y'all. I'm just saying. And somebody said about my comments that, oh, the Bible doesn't mention anything about justice or karma. That just shows a lot of people do not read the Bible. I have read the Bible from the beginning to the end multiple times. I know these scriptures so well that I literally could summarize them a lot of times. But there is a scripture that talks about you reap what you sow. That is in the Bible. Let's see if I can show y'all that scripture, because somebody said that in the Bible. Somebody said that in the comments saying, there's no such thing as karma. Now, just because the Bible doesn't directly say the exact words karma, the Bible says it in its own unique way. Now, let me just show you the scripture before we continue in on the post, because guys, just get your coffee, get your tea, get your food. We're going to be here for a while. But really, the scripture right here summarizes it all. Galatians 6:7-8, it says, do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows, and whoever sows to please their flesh, from the flesh will reap destruction. Whoever sows to please the Spirit, from the Spirit will reap eternal life. Now, people can define this in any way they want, but I define it in the way to say, when you sow from the flesh is weak. The flesh has manly desires. Some of those manly desires can be very evil, such as someone acting upon their flesh and being violent towards someone and beating someone to death, like this case. That is that's sowing from the flesh. That's sowing from the flesh. Sowing from the Spirit, it shows a sense of restraint to not act on your fleshly desires or impulses to engage in violence, for example. So what you dish out into the society, into the universe, into the world is what you reap back. That's what the scripture is saying. So the Cabo 6 sowed some very fleshly actions in this case, allegedly. They sowed a flesh of violence inflicted upon Shanquella. So allegedly what happened this past week or so, or I believe 2 weeks ago, I don't know, guys, you'll let me know in the chat. We talked about it, was that fleshly action happened back towards them. So I just wanted to show that scripture, y'all, because I saw somebody in the comments that really didn't know the Bible as clear as I mean, I'm just saying they don't know the Bible. They really probably don't even read it. And thought they wanted to say something about that. I'm like, yes, it does. It doesn't say karma. It says reap what you sow. Okay, that's karma to me. You just summarize it the way you want to summarize it. Now let's go back to our lovely Salamandra here. So here she posted this. She said, "Justice, fight for Shanquella, a beautiful soul, great memories." Here's some memories. This was actually Shanquella's prom, guys. This was a prom photo of her. She just, oh my gosh, she looked like Cinderella here. She even had literally the glass slipper here. It looked like a glass slipper to me, but it's like a rhinestone slipper. But to me, it looks like a glass slipper. Look at that gorgeous dress for her prom. Her mom just really, really going through it, y'all. She cannot think about anything else. You could just see every post that her mom posts about her daughter because that's all she can think of is fighting for her daughter. A mother, when they lose their child, that's the worst nightmare ever. No one imagines losing your child to something so horrific, and even your child dying before you. So that's all her mother can really go through. So here she posts this here, fight for Shanquella. Let's see what this person said. "I know you're really tired of hearing people say so. Sorry for your loss, but I have to say it. This is the worst case I've ever heard of. I'm really sorry for everything you've been through and your child. I know she was confused, like, why are they hitting me? But I never thought I would cry over someone dying, but I'm very sorry. She needs more than them going to jail. They literally unalive your child. I think they need more than going to jail. But it hurts me to know that someone I birthed is not here anymore. I feel for you. Everyone a part of your family and her dad, and you especially, because her dad made me cry so hard and my mom just couldn't stop crying. This is the worst crime ever to been done. And no one is even trying to get her help. They're just watching and recording, not fighting. If no one is fighting you back, that means stop." And what makes me so sickened by this case is that the state attorney allegedly told this family that, oh, Shanquella agreed to the fight. Are you kidding me? Did the attorney not watch the video? Clearly, she explicitly said no. That means she's not consenting. That really sickened me. And even if she did consent, that doesn't justify what they did to her. Like, the state attorney just really aggravated me, if that's what she said, because that's what the allegation is that the state attorney said that Shanquella agreed to this fight, allegedly. Okay. Somebody said here, "I'm sorry," and her mother posted this April 12th. She said, "I'm sorry to hear our government chose to turn a blind eye to what is very clear to the majority of us. Please don't give up fighting for justice for Shanquella. Your community loves you all and will continue to rally behind you." So that's beautiful. People are showing support. Here her mom, tried to post something here to be positive, but here, look at this quote here. This quote is very telling from Shanquella's mom. She says, "A mother will rearrange her whole life for her children." And that is exactly how we can summarize what is happening with Shanquella's mom right now. Her mom has literally rearranged her life. Her whole life is on hold. All she lives for is for justice for Shanquella. That's all she thinks about when she wakes up, when she eats, when she goes to the store, when she goes to the mailbox. They can barely even hold themselves up because they feel everyone has turned a blind eye. Their own country has turned a blind eye to them. Okay. Here they said, "The family needs to trademark Shanquella's name. Someone will try to profit and not pay the family. Please trademark your daughter's name. I beg you, please." Let's see what these people put here. Okay, I don't know. This is a copyright, so I'm not gonna post that. Here she posted again, the mom. She posted this picture here, "Fight for Shanquella." Every day it's about Shanquella. And you can see when you see what she's posting, you can see what's in what's in Shanquella's mom's mind, and that is Shanquella. There's nothing else that this mom can even think about because no justice has been achieved. But I guarantee you, based upon what happened in that press conference, the news has come back to the family regarding that fight that happened with the Cabo 3 girls. I say Cabo 3 because it was 3 girls involved. Well, no, it was 4 allegedly. Allegedly, they're saying Winter Donovan, Elise Hyatt, Diogene, whatever, her aggressive self. And allegedly they're saying Joya was involved in that. But here, she says, her mom says, "Thank you, Shanquella, for coming to see your mother and let me know that you're okay." So it looks like she is saying Shanquella's spirit visited her, maybe in a dream, and talked to her mom to give her comfort and tell her mom that she was okay in the spiritual realm. So that is beautiful to know that her daughter has given her some comfort. Here you can see Shaquilla's mom went to Embassy Suites by Hilton, and she met with Trayvon Martin's mom. And you guys, if you guys know who Trayvon Martin was a victim of a very horrible racist discriminatory crime in Florida. You know, he was just walking, minding his own business. He was staying with his dad because of some disciplinary issues that happened at his school. And so his mom sent him over to his dad because he was acting up. He got suspended. And so while he was there, you know, in Florida at this more nice area, he went for a walk to go get some snacks. And he was on the phone with his girlfriend. You know, as he's walking back to his dad's house, some racist dude profiled this guy because he had a hoodie on and was like, "Oh my God," he called the police and said, "Oh my God, there's a black guy with a hoodie." Like, that's all he really could say. And he looks like he's walking around, and then he follows him, and that's how this whole encounter happened. Trayvon Martin tried to defend himself, you know, and was shot after fighting this man. There was no justice in that case either at all. So you can see there is this horrible fraternity that kind of has formed between the mothers of these sad cases, Black mothers who have not received justice. They kind of have joined together to kind of help them cope. And now we could see that Salamandras has joined with Trayvon Martin's mom and his foundation to try to get some type of solace and peace with one another, because they kind of have to work together to get peace. Here she went to AJ Johnson, life coach, actress, a baby boy and house party here. She went there to, you know, again, fight for her daughter. You know, they got to go to these retreats and different things like that to meet with high profile people. And there she was there at this retreat here. Mind, Body, Soul retreat. And you can see here, it's talking about justice. So these are like different families. Again, it's like a fraternity. These different families who have joined together, and they're at these retreats to try to, you know, get some type of solace, some type of peace, some type of comfort amongst one another, because they each understand each other's pain, because each of them have lost a loved one because of an injustice or some type of racial or something that happened where there has been really no legitimate justice. All these people really have got no justice. So they're kind of banding together to get peace, and they have these retreats. Here you could see just 7 days ago, Salamandra went to visit Shanquella's grave. So here is Shanquella's gravesite. She gave some fresh flowers there. She said, "Today I'm celebrating the amazing godmother you was and the happy memories." So this was basically on Mother's Day. She went there to give these flowers and visit her daughter to tell her what a great godmother she was, because Shanquella was a godmother also. And, you know, she had a lot of kids that she was doing their hair, and she was always there for them. So that is beautiful. We can see the actual photo of her grave stone here, and see people are saying, "Sending you continued strength and prayer. You are forever in our hearts, love and thought of often. Happy Mother's Day." And so she spent, can you believe this, guys? She spent her Mother's Day at her daughter's gravesite. Salamandra can't even celebrate her being a mother because she's so focused on the loss of her child. Like, Mother's Day is supposed to be a day of celebration of mothers, but in reality, Salamandra is just reminded of the loss of her own child. Every Mother's Day is like, it's going to be a horrible experience for Salamandra, because every year she has to think of the loss of a child, because Mother's Day highlights you being a mother, right? But there's one child that's missing in this household and in this family because of this brutal injustice, and there's been no form of resolution to it. So this holiday was when we're supposed to celebrate motherhood. Salamandra couldn't do that. She ended up going to her daughter's gravesite, and it is in grieving. This is sad, guys. And someone commented, no doubt she was the best godmother anybody could ask for. Happy Mother's Day, Quella. Happy Mother's Day, Ma. And they said, praying for you this Mother's Day, Miss Robinson. You are heavy in my mind and in my heart. I know that Shanquella is with you this weekend. Happy Mother's Day. So again, that's like Mother's Day for a lot of people is very difficult because they're reminded of the losses that they have. And that is what Salamandra is going through, guys. So I just really hope you can pray for her because they are literally falling apart by the day. It gets worse and worse. The grieving gets worse and worse. And a lot of people kept saying, oh, at the very beginning of this tragedy back in November, when we didn't see Shanquella's mother and sister crying, people were trying to judge them on that. But it's because a lot of this too is they have to show strength because they're fighting for justice. And so a lot of times they have to compose themselves. But the other part of it is that state of shock, literally being in complete shock that this has happened. So let's look at our lovely Tequila's page here and see what's going on with her regarding this loss. So here she posted a happy Mother's Day to her mom. She said, strength best describes my mother. I don't know a person stronger, man or woman. The hell that we've been through these last few months has been unreal. We have had to show up in pain and fight. If it wasn't for her mentally, I would be unstable. I could go on, but I'm going to be short. I love you, Mama. Keep showing up and keep marvelous. Keep looking marvelous while you do it. Happy early Mother's Day. Love you. It's just like so amazing that she could actually hold herself up. This is sad. It said, just marvelous. Happy Mother's Day, Miss Mondi. You are loved and thought of. Continued strength. Prayers for you. And let's see here. You can see not just the lover, Sue Ann is over here. So she's trying to celebrate her Mother's Day here. And look at Tequila has lost a lot of weight, but you have to ask yourself, was this healthy losing weight or is this just losing weight? It looked like she going through some depression. Okay. Look how thin she got. I mean, it's a good thing because, you know, she wanted to really work on herself. She's really big on fitness and she exercises a lot. So that's a whole part of her life. But then I have to ask myself, is also this weight loss contributed to the depression and the anxiety of losing her sister and having to continue to fight where the judicial system has literally closed the door to justice. So she went ATV riding in the desert for Mother's Day. And someone said, great job on working out. It's my pleasure to be at that every day. You look good, lady. God bless you and your family. Justice for Shanquella Robinson. So she's really been working on that. Here you can see Sue Ann went with her too. And Tamika Mallory, just 5 days ago, they were with each other. So this team is really amazing. They're really not just fighting for this family, but they're spending time with them. They're really just investing in them. And she put my chicks, Tamika Mallory, and not just the lawyer, which is Sue Ann. And you can see Tamika saying lifers and, just posting, looking fantastic. Other people, not just the lawyer, said in. So they just really have developed a strong bond and a strong relationship. They all went ATV riding. So Tamika Mallory and Sue Ann and Tequila all went ATV riding for Mother's Day. That's beautiful. Can you see? That's just so amazing to see that they're not only helping them professionally, but even in their personal life. This is like a full support system. I just find that to be very admirable. Here you can see this is what happened just on Friday. This is how they looked. This is how they were dressed when they met with some of the representatives at the White House. So she puts the White House, Washington, D.C., fight for Shanquella. And Sue Ann, the attorney, said, love you. And Salamandra posted all the hearts there. But they looked pretty sharp. Look at Shanquella's mom was dressed to the nines. I mean, she's always known to be so well dressed. Sue Ann and then Tamika Mallory and Ben Crumb. I don't know any other team that could have been better than this. This team is really a solid team. They have really supporting them. But the sad part is, notice there's one common theme here. In every photo, in every press conference we've seen, we do not ever see Shanquella Robinson's father. That is very telling, guys. What I'm starting to notice is there is a division, a divide. And usually what happens in grief is there's stages that people go through. when they go through grief. They go through the shock phase where they're denying it. At first, they're like, no, this really didn't happen to me. Then they start hitting reality. And then they start going through the grieving part where they're starting to get depression. Then they go, well, sorry, that's wrong. Sorry, let's back this up. It starts with the shock denial stage of grief. Then it's an angry stage. They're angry at this point, like, why this happened? There could be blame games happening, all kind of conflict stuff happening. Then it's a grief of just depression where it's like, okay, reality hits and they're like, man, this really is real. Oh my God, what am I going to do? What I feel like with the father, I feel like he's in kind of like a couple weeks ago, he was in an angry stage where he kind of was in this stage of anger of like, why did this happen? He was frustrated with kind of blaming individuals for letting her go to this trip, and him thinking, had I known, then I would not have let this happen. So I kind of feel like he's in that stage right now where he's a little bit angry. But the sad part is he's not included in any of these conferences. He's not represented by Sue Ann. He's not represented by Ben Crump. He's kind of on the outskirts and pursuing his own justice. And it's kind of sad because I really wish that they would all be together as a team because they're all fighting for the same thing. But I can't help to just mention that because I kind of noticed it. And I'll show you a video of his interview plus a video of the two talking about an interview to tell you why I feel that there is a slight divide. And it's just kind of apparent. You can see it because we've seen it for the last few months where they're never really together. We only seen them one time where the father joined with the mother and the sister, and that was at a rally. But after that, you always see the father interviewed individually, and then the mother and sister have their own separate justice that they're pursuing with their own separate attorneys. He doesn't even work with the father here, doesn't even work with the attorneys that are representing Tequila and Salamandra. He doesn't even have access to that GoFundMe. It seems like there's kind of like a divide, and this type of stuff happens with families when they're in grief because, like I said, those stages happen in grief where first is the denial stage and there's the angry stage. So a lot of people want to blame each other. No fault of anyone's own, but it's just that's a part of the grieving stage. And when people are hurting, they may start to turn their hurt towards loved ones. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys have heard that when you've had family members and have died, and sometimes there's some conflict within the family that arises. And I just feel that's what's going on. But let's hear this interview, and then we'll go into another interview before we get into that press conference.
It's just sort of a little emotion standing here talking about this. It's on back order. But Amarka came.
And again, I'm going to say this now because I already know somebody's going to tell me the volume is too low. That is out of my control. I put the volume all the way to the highest volume on this video. That is just the way this video is. So you're just going to have to really use your ears to listen.
So I brought you all out here today to let y'all know that, her mark is down now, I can come, me and my mother, my family. I can come up here and talk to her. I know where she at. Because at first, I didn't know where, I didn't even know she was over there.
See, that's the first sign of irritation I can hear in his voice. He said, I didn't even know she was over there. So from that, I can infer him kind of mad that no one told him or gave him a heads up that she was going on this trip. He feels left out. He feels like he's not included in a lot of things because, when people go through divorce and separation, things happen, and then there's lack of communication on ends, and people especially fathers, a lot of time they get kind of left out on certain intricate details of what's going on with the child. And he right now is seeming very frustrated. He's like, I didn't even know she was going on this trip. He's pretty mad. Like, how come nobody told me? Had I known, this would not have happened. So that's the first clue I can see where there's a sense of frustration in his voice and in his feelings, because he's not going to come out and say it, but you just have to infer it from what he's saying and his demeanor. And it appears that he feels that he's constantly left out of the loop, and he's still being left out even after this young lady has passed away.
talked to her that Wednesday before she passed transition over. I get a phone call from my mother saying that she transitioned over in Mexico. Then I get a phone call. The only thing I know, she talked to Khalil Cook, supposed to be her best friend, 2 times on the phone. I ain't know nothing about that. I just felt as a father that
it's the most wonderful time of the year.
Non-drowsy
of her, the way I raised her, 2 times on the phone. I ain't know nothing about that. I just felt as a father that the way I love her and her best friend, 2 times on the phone. I ain't know nothing about that. I just felt as a father that the way I love her, the way I raised her, that I should have had an opportunity to give her that father advice or my opinion about going over there.
So did you hear what he said? He said, I should have had that opportunity to give her my opinion on advice on going there. He's frustrated. He's mad because he feels like he's always left out. No one let him know that she was going on this trip. And so he felt like he was stripped of his ability to be a father at that moment in time that she really needed to hear from him because no one told him and included him in on her going on this trip. So again, you can see he's frustrated. And he feels like he's constantly being left out of the matters as it relates to his child, in my opinion.
In which I didn't. And I know for a fact, from the bottom of my heart, about that. I just felt as a father that the way I love her, the way I raised her, that I should have had an opportunity to give her that father advice or my opinion about going over there. In which I didn't. And I know for a fact, from the bottom of my heart, we all might not even be standing out here if I had that opportunity to speak to her, even though she's 25 years old. She grown, but still at the same time, I'm her protector until she get a husband. When she get a husband, then he become a protector. But as this father standing right here, I feel like I should have been her protector, and I was denied that. What would you have said?
Again, another key word, and the reason why I'm stopping this and talking about it, because you'll miss it if you don't really look in between the lines. He said that he was denied that. He is saying he was denied his ability to be the protector of his child because no one keeps him in communication and in the loop of what's going on with his daughter. He understands she's 25, but he's frustrated because he's like, well, Salamandra knew about this trip. Everybody knew about this trip but me. And this is the same thing he feels is happening in Shanquella's death, is that everybody's in here in the loop with going to the White House. They got these attorneys, Sue Ann and Ben Crump. Everybody's in the loop with what's going on with the justice. And he's always the one that's left out of really knowing what's going on with his child. So he's at a stage where he's just frustrated with always being left out of everything. That's what I feel. Because he said he was denied that right. That's a powerful, powerful word he said. He feels that he felt like, how come nobody told him that she was going on this trip? The mom knew. And that's what happens a lot in these families when there's divorces and people break up and stuff like that. It's like, because there's tension in that relationship, a lot of times the mom or the dad, they don't keep each other in the loop of what's going on with the child. There should still be a team no matter what happens in that relationship. For the sake of that child, there should still be a team and keep in communication with what's going on. And Shanquella was very, she was very protected by her parents, meaning they really were involved in her life. They were always involved. But a lot of times it felt like based on what the father is saying, he's always feeling denied and left out, and he's still being left out. He didn't get to go to the White House and give his feelings about what's going on. He's not at this conference giving what he feels. It feels like they're just on separate terms about this, and it's sad because it's like God talks about a house divided against itself will fail. And even though they're not a household anymore, they're still a family. And if we want justice, we all have to unify together. And this father needs to be included in these meetings and everything. He is just as much the father of this young lady as anyone else. And I am not throwing shade at anybody, so please do not come for me. I'm just speaking from the perspective of what I'm getting from the father. And that's the vibe I'm feeling from the words that he is saying. Denied and saying he should have been included. He should have been informed. He's the protector of his child before she gets married. He's saying he was not able to really assume his role as the father and protector of his child because he's not included in the communications of what's going on. He said this wouldn't have even happened had he known, because he probably would have said, don't go. So let's keep hearing what he has to say.
I would have asked her who she going with. How well do you know these folks? Then I would have came back and said, well, who their parents are. Well, before you go, let me meet these parents. Let me meet these folks. You know, I always been like that ever since she started beginning having a lot of friends. You know, as a father, you know, not trying to be in her business. It's just the point of making sure she okay and the folks that are around her, who she keeping company with.
It would all makes me sad too. I mean, I understand him as a father. He is very prideful. So he may have even made his own decision to not get any type of help because, you know, men a lot of times want to do things on their own. But what I noticed here, he has no support system. Look at him. He called this news station here to talk to them, but there's no one behind him. There's no lawyer. There's no family, nobody. He's all by himself. And I have to ask, there's two theories I could think of. One, he's choosing to be by himself because, you know, men are prideful and they feel like they want to do it on their own and they don't want to be looked at as they're weak or they need help. Or the other side is he's just not included in stuff. It's just made me sad that he had to call this news station and have this little mini kind of conference, I would call it, press conference, this little mini one here, informal one, because he's not included in stuff. But it could have been his own decision. So again, I can't really assume either way because I know that he is a kind of man that's very big on pride and doing things on his own. He was very proud that he paid for his daughter being sent back to North Carolina. He was very proud of that he was able to do that as a father, and that he also has vocalized he didn't want the GoFundMe money at all. So he has made that choice to not be a part of the GoFundMe. But I just noticed, look, he's all by himself, and it just kind of makes me sad that he doesn't have any type of support system. He doesn't even have a lawyer, in my opinion. And I don't know, this is all allegedly. I don't know if he has a lawyer. I don't. But I'm just assuming that he doesn't because I just get that vibe that he doesn't have anyone speaking for him at all. It's just very, very sad.
Because everybody can say you your friend, but they're really not. It all depends on what you got and how you carry yourself. And she carried herself very well because that's how I taught her, you know. The respect, morals. No, I never met her. Didn't know nothing about her. You know, only thing I know, her mother said they went to school with her, and she's gonna tell me, told me, well, you don't know them. So I said, do you know them? She said, I know of them, but I'm seeing in the interview, you told your lawyer, Sue Robinson, that you just know one of them. That was Khalil Cook. So that tells me right there, we both was in the blind as a mother and a father.
So right there, you hear the tension that they had a disagreement. Salamandra allegedly told him, you don't know them. And then he was like, well, you don't know them. So it looked like they kind of were having some little bit of tension between each other behind the curtains, I would say, of social media, because we don't know anything that's going on. And it looks like you heard him also use a key term there. He said, your lawyer. So again, that gives us clues that Sue Ann is not representing him. Ben Crump is not representing him, your lawyer. But I don't understand why not. Maybe he's chosen not to be represented because, again, he's prideful. But I'm like, he's a part of the family. Even if he doesn't want to be a part, that GoFundMe money should still be used for him to be able to be a part of those meetings, because he's the father. I just don't understand. I get his point of perspective, but I just don't know. I just feel like that I don't know. That's why I feel like there is a division. There is a division, and there's somewhat of a family conflict, which is why Sue Ann probably couldn't even represent them anyway, because they have separate, different interests. And you can see that they're already kind of conflicting within each other. And he's just basically, they went to, it feels as though, based on him saying, when Salamandra said, you don't know them, and he went back with, you don't know them, it seems like they were kind of in a conflict, kind of blaming each other about this situation. Because again, that's a part of grief. It starts with the denial stage. Then there's that angry stage. So I think they were both in an angry stage where they kind of were having conflicts with each other, in my opinion. This is just an observer on the outside looking in. And basically he's coming back with, well, we both didn't know them, so we're both at fault for this. But at the same time, he feels denied of his ability to protect his family and protect his daughter, because no one even told him, even though Salamandra knew about this trip. He didn't know. So you already know, it seems like there's a common pattern, that there's a miscommunication or lack thereof of communication between the two that has been going on even whilst Shanquella was alive. It seems like she had separate relationships with her mom and her dad, so that, she may have told her mother certain things, but she may not have told her father certain things, because she knows he is a protector. And she knew he was going to tell her not to go on that trip, which is why she didn't tell him about the trip. Because you notice she told her mom about the trip, and she even called her mom while she was in Cabo, but she never told her dad. And she actually spoke to her dad, I believe the day before she went on the trip. But during that conversation with her dad, she never mentioned the trip, which is what makes me believe she has known her dad to be very overprotective over her. And she already knew that if she told her dad about this trip, she already knew what he was going to say. She knew he was going to try to figure out who she was going with, why she was going. He was going to want to ask if he can meet with the people, and she didn't want to be all embarrassed, so she didn't let him know. That is what I'm seeing. But even though I still feel as though there should have been some type of communication between the parents to let him know, because he's constantly feeling left out. He's constantly feeling denied of his ability to really be that protector. And he's kind of mad, and in my opinion, kind of blaming the mom, and the mom is kind of blaming him. It's kind of like they're going back and forth. That's just what I am inferring, guys. It's just an opinion. Again, a disclaimer, I don't know what's going on with these people, but I'm just looking at this interview and I'm listening to the words he's saying, and that is what I am inferring from what he is saying.
We both in the blind. We both didn't even know these folks, So.
Can we start last week, or about more than a week ago? I'm sure you heard the information, got the information that there will be no prosecution by the United States Attorney's Office.
Epidemic Sound provides you with restriction-free music and sound effects that you can.
Well, yeah, but the case is still open though. So God is still moving. My faith is so strong in the mustard seed that He will prevail.
And what does that look like to you?
Patient, like I always been. Just like y'all standing out here, I was patient while y'all set up and everything. I always been patient.
But I mean, what does that look like as far as you said you're still hopeful for what?
Justice will be served. Justice will be served. It's gonna be served. It's gonna be served.
So what does that justice look like?
This justice gonna look like they're gonna get what they deserve to get to them. You just don't take a life. They brutally beat her. She didn't agree to fight whatsoever. She did not agree. That's not her. She did not agree to fight. She was going over there, enjoy somebody's birthday, one of they she graduated with. That's what she thought she was going to do, and then enjoy it, take photos, put them on her phone, come back and enjoy it and, talk about it to her other friends, you know. Then the main thing, she got the little kids, the little girls and boys that she plait hair, braid their hair. Now they wonder where Shanquella is because Shanquella didn't got adapted to her customers, her clients, the mothers, the fathers, how well she doing their daughters and sons braiding their hair, and they proud of Shanquella doing their hair and how they, she got them looking, stealing something in them that they can become this, they can become that. They might, one of the little girls might want to follow her footsteps. But right now, that crushed from them six. And then the mother and the parents, the mother and the father, those parents or those six individuals don't have no decency to call up, interview one of you all on the news and say, Mr. Robinson or the Robinson family, we sorry about the loss of your daughter. Whatsoever. Their life is still moving around, walking around here like they enjoy life. But this father right here struggling each and every day. I cry every day. It's a struggle for me. Struggle.
Have you had any contact with those six or their families at all since?
No, not whatsoever.
Have you attempted to or wanted to reach out? Wanted to know why?
Now, ain't no need me reaching out. I'll let God do what he got to do. But I tell you this, they're not going to get away. They're not going to get away.
See, it looks like to me, this is a man that's very, prideful, and he only is relying upon God. That's it. He don't have any type of support system. And it doesn't look like he really even wants any support system. But at the same time, I still feel like both sides should include him in to say, hey, we're going to the White House. Would you like to come with us? We're going to be talking to the representatives. He should be able to speak. He's still a father, he should have been at that press conference to give his take. I just feel really sad for this dad. I just feel like we really need to kind of look into what's going on with him. And it's sad. And again, there's two different theories that could be going on with this situation. Again, he might have just chose not to be a part of it. He might have just want to do things alone. That could be his pride. And he's relying upon God and God only. That's it. Period. That Southern type of man that a lot of people in the South are very religious. And their sole reliance is upon God. And that seems like this is what's going on with him. He has a sole dependency on God. But then I still want to know, why wasn't he included at that press conference Friday? And how come he didn't get to go to the White House to say how he felt? He should have been able to speak as a dad. It just feels sad that there's this common theme with this man that he just doesn't really get to be that full father. It's sad, that he had to call this news station out here to get his voice heard because he hasn't been included in a lot of things. And again, that could be something he chose to do or something they chose. Who knows? I don't know what side is what side, but you could just see from the outside looking in that there is a division.
What is your message to them if they are watching?
My message to them, why can't y'all just go ahead and tell the truth? Why y'all up and left her like that? Because if you would have stayed, this father right here would have made sure y'all got back to the United States whatsoever. Any of her friends that she grew up with, they would tell you that her dad took care of them when they was with Shanquella just like they was mine from day one. And I'm still the same father that she was, that I raised her, that I am is today, and she gone,
Mr. Robinson, there is a discrepancy, well, I guess discrepancy is the best word, between Mexican authorities saying, this was what they call femicide, and they have a warrant for one of the people that was on that trip with Shanquella. However, the United States attorney is disputing the autopsy that they did on Shanquella. Does that concern you?
I'm frustrated about it to the utmost. I'm frustrated. I just can't understand why, the autopsy that I got back saying that her neck and spinal cord was broke, because When I talked to the young lady, Miss Elizabeth, who over there, I asked her before she even sent her body back to me. You know, I asked her, I said, Miss Elizabeth, well, how my daughter died? She said, Mr. Robinson, your daughter's neck and spinal cord was broke. I said, you kidding? I just started crying.
Because they're saying that the Mecklenburg County medical examiner is saying that they didn't even make visual confirmation of that.
Well, I can't understand that. I don't know who the medical examiner who did her autopsy on her body, but I would like to know how many years experience that he have in doing an autopsy on a body, or where did he get his degree from? Because
obviously it's frustrating.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. Very frustrating because this lady Elizabeth, that's what she do. When people die over in Mexico, she get the body, do the paperwork and everything.
And
Wow, so he is questioning the experience and credibility of the doctor who did the autopsy here in America. That's what he's seeming to say. He seems to really, really support the Mexican officials because, again, he had direct communication with the individuals at the morgue in Mexico, and they seem to really work with this man and really help him. So that's why his mindset is he is more so pro-Mexico and against what's going on in America with the officials and the medical, the doctor who did the autopsy, whereas the mom and the sister are opposed to what's going on in Mexico and what's going on in America. So you can kind of see the mindset here because he had a good experience with the interaction. So his mindset is he thinks that the coroner in Mexico did a good autopsy. But again, we talked about that coroner, and that coroner did not have the right license to even do an autopsy in the first place, period, point blank. I don't know if the father is aware of that doctor in Mexico was not even qualified to do autopsies. He didn't even have a license. So you could kind of see his mindset here.
When's the last time you had communication like that? How often is the communication with the authorities down in Mexico?
Not so often. She'll send me a text message, how I'm doing and everything, but the case, everybody still is pulling for Shanquella justice down there in Mexico, Cabo. I mean, the Contier is saying that Shanquella didn't fit well in. My main objective is this: if nothing didn't happen, why they just up and left? You came that Friday. You supposed to stay about a couple of days, but you're gonna just up and leave that next day and get back on the plane and come back over here like it wasn't nothing. You're gonna just leave her over there? That don't even sound right. Friends just don't do that. Friends don't do that.
Is the plan still to rally in DC in May?
What I'm hearing from the information that I get from the news and people texting me, so they keep me out of it. So they don't tell me,
Can I get you to talk?
Did you hear that? Did you hear that? I got to rewind that. He said they kicked me out of it. There's conflict between this family. He's saying they kicked him out of what's going on. That is sad. So he's literally on the outside looking in when he's a father. So he has to grieve the loss of his kid. Plus, there's conflict going on between the two, in my humble opinion. And he's kicked out of what's going on. He's kicked out of communications of what's going on. He's not included in so now this is making sense. That's what I told you. I thought at first, I didn't know what was going on. I was like, okay, there's two theories that could be going on here. One theory is he might have made a unilateral decision to not be a part of these discussions and conferences and meetings with the White House. The other side is they could be keeping him out. He's saying they kicked him out. So he's not being included. That is not cool, in my opinion. Again, I'm not trying to reprimand anybody, judge anybody, because I don't know what either of these people are going through. But I just feel a little empathy for this dad. That is very sad. I feel like when something like this happens, we should, let go of our pride, let go of our feelings and thoughts, and we should do what's for the betterment of the family. And this man deserves to be a part of everything involved. It's so sad. I think he felt so left out, he had to call this news station to see if he can get his voice heard. That is so sad because we haven't heard anything from him in several months. But we've seen a lot of, Shanquella's mom and her sister, but we have not seen him. And now he's saying in this last part is that he was kicked out. That's sad. That means that they just basically said, you don't get to come to these things anymore. There must have been some type of conflict. Again, during the grieving process, there's that angry stage. And when they're in the angry stage, people tend to act irrational, and they may blame family members or other people for things that happen, because they're grieving. They're grieving, and there's no fault to anyone involved at all. I'm not saying anyone did any side did anything wrong. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying during the grieving process, people think irrationally, and they might blame people who may not otherwise be at fault. And it may cause some type of divide in the family. And that is what I think is happening with this family. The father is saying he was kicked out, like he's not included. That's sad. And now when I watch these press conferences, it just makes me look at it a little differently because I'm looking at it from his perspective and feeling empathy. Like, where's the dad? He should be there. Even if you are conflicting with each other. And call him and say, hey, we're having this news conference, or we're going to the White House. You're definitely invited. Just always make sure he knows that he's invited. But for him to be kicked out, that's just so sad. I'm going to play that again, y'all, because some of y'all might have missed that part.
All right, friends just don't do that. Friends don't do that.
Is the plan still to rally in DC in May?
What I'm hearing from the information that I get from the news and people texting me.
So the news reporter asked him about the rally in Washington. And what he says is what he's hearing is from what he sees on the news. So that means nobody, the mom, Shanquella's sister, the attorneys, nobody's talking to him to let him know what's going on. So he didn't even know about this meeting in Washington except for what he heard on the news. That is sad. That is just straight sad, y'all. This man has constantly been excluded out of everything. Even when his daughter was alive, he didn't know what's going on. And he still don't know what's going on. That's just sad. He gets a call that his daughter is brutally beat to death on a trip that he never even knew about, literally violating and preventing his right to be able to be a dad. And now in her death, he doesn't get any information about what's going on with these conferences and different pursuances of justice. That's just messed up. Now, I didn't know I was going to have this reaction. I'm reacting live to this. So y'all can judge me how you want to judge me. I'm just giving my human opinion, okay? I'm pretty sure everybody else have their own opinions. We are the opinionators and litigators, so everybody's going to have their own opinion about this. But that's just not cool. He said he heard about this on the news. He should not be hearing about this on the news. He deserves to know what's going on in this pursuance of justice. That is messed up. Dang, guys, I'm feeling sad for this dad right now.
Just don't do that. Friends don't do that.
Is the plan still to rally in DC in May?
See, the volume's very low, but that reporter said, is the plan still to rally in DC? And then his response is going to be, I don't know. I just know what's going on in the news. That's sad. That means the attorneys, nobody talking to this dad. That's just so sad.
What I'm hearing from the information that I get from the news and people texting me. So they keep me out of it. So they don't tell me,
Can I get you to talk? You mentioned
DC in May.
What I'm hearing from the information that I get from the news and people texting me. So they keep me out of it.
Dang, guys, I had to play that again, guys. That is so messed up. He said they kicked me out of it. That is that language there tells me that is an intentional act, meaning they are intentionally not communicating him. They intentionally have prevented him from having any form of inclusion in this pursuit of justice. That's what tells me, guys, in my humble opinion, that there was some type of conflict that happened behind closed doors, during the grieving process. And it got a little muddled into the point where they just basically excluded him from everything. So basically, they kicked him out of the pursuance of justice. He doesn't get to go to these news conferences. He doesn't get to go to the White House. That's messed up. So what he had to do is he had to, in order for him to figure out what's going on, is he has to look at the news. So when they had that meeting with the FBI and they were informed that no justice would be pursued, Mr. Robinson wasn't there because he was excluded. They kicked him out. That's messed up. So the only way he figured out no justice was going to happen was because he heard it on the news, guys. That is so messed up. Imagine you having your child and you put your faith in the legal system and you don't know what's going on because the other parent is excluding you out of everything for whatever reason. I don't know what's going on with them, guys. It's just an opinion. And you hear that no justice is going to be pursued in the case because you heard it on the news. That's messed up. This man is grieving and he has to be excluded. This man has got double grief because now he got to deal with the anxiety of not knowing what's going on and only hears it from the news like we hear it. He's basically an outcast. They outcasted him out of everything, in my humble opinion. That's so sad. And again, I'm reacting to this live, so I didn't know it was going to get that deep. Like I said, I didn't know who was excluding who. I thought he was excluding himself, or like I said, it could be the other way around. But he's basically explicitly saying he was kicked out and that they don't tell him what's going on and that he has to look on the news to see what's going on. That is very sad that he doesn't get to be a part of this. Shanquella is just as child as anybody as the other side. That is so heartbreaking for this father. He just sees he never really got to be. It seems like whatever happened with that relationship, and it typically happens in relationships, it feels like he kind of just got excluded, period. And he only really got to communicate with his daughter when she called. That's messed up.
So they don't tell me,
Can I get you to talk? You mentioned the GoFundMe page a little bit earlier.
hearing from the information that I get from the news and people texting me. So they keep me out of it. So they don't tell me,
Can I get you to talk? You mentioned the GoFundMe page a little bit earlier when you first started out talking.
Yes.
Do you want to? It sounded like you don't really have. You said you don't want to be involved with the GoFundMe page.
I never did want to be involved in the GoFundMe from day one because there wasn't nobody arrested. I just want justice. Now the GoFundMe page is, it's sitting there. I mean, I guess they're using for the best ability of my daughter's case, our daughter's case, but still at the same time, this father right here, I'm gonna let God do the work because it's gonna get done. God said you trust in him, he ain't gonna fail you and he ain't gonna forsake you. And so that's how I'm gonna stand, y'all. I'm gonna continue to stand. I'm gonna continue to stand on my faith. I'm gonna continue to stand on my faith from day one since she left me,
Wow, guys, that interview put me through all kind of emotions, y'all. So y'all gotta forgive me. I went through all kind of emotions with that man, like I was involved. That is so sad to see this happening to him. That he just does not get to be a part. He's kicked out. He doesn't know what's going on. He has to watch the news to figure out what's going on in this case. He has to call a news station to get his voice heard. As a dad, I just extend so much empathy to this man. So that's why I feel like, again, there is some type of divide in that family that I really wanted to share with you. Now let's segue into the interview from the mother and the sister, because they had an interview with TMZ that I really wanted to share with you guys. And we can kind of analyze that together. But guys, this is just so sad, man. Oh, right. Like chat with Cat. She said it, like, now layers are going to start to unravel. It's true. Right. Like she's saying, like, things are starting to really unravel. You're starting to see the tension that's kind of unfolding. Before, we really didn't know what was going on with the father and the mother and everything. But you can start to see the cracks now are becoming exposed. And there's definitely, in my humble opinion, a divide between the mother and the father. And this dad is excluded. And that is just heartbreaking, man. That's just we got to overcome our pride and our disagreements when it comes to tragedies like this. This is just something that we can learn from this situation. And again, there's no fault to either side. I'm not blaming, I'm not throwing shade or none of that, because I still extend my empathy to both sides, and I just show love to both of them, and I'm here to really root on both sides in the family. But I'm just showing my empathy to the father, and I just feel really sad for him.
But frustration, and it's been nothing but frustration, and it's an emotional roller coaster, because now we back to the beginning, to how we was feeling 5 months ago when we first heard of her death. So we think it's a sad situation, and I solely stand on that. Those people in that room that was on that trip with my sister caused her death. Even though it's some discrepancies between the two examiners, the autopsies, their reports, both reports, she died a horrific death. Here in the States, she had blunt force trauma. We all know that's to the head, and she suffocated. She had trauma on the report from Mexico as well. So we are at disbelief, and I think the world is at disbelief. How can no charges be brought when we seen and witnessed some form of violent attack towards her? Everybody's seen that video. And then they come back, and here we is, they brought us in a room. It's about 10 or 12 FBI agencies that all had a part in the investigation. And the only thing they can tell us that her death is undetermined. So we baffled, actually, and we're upset, and we exhausted. No family should have to go through what we go through, what we have been through, and then it being public, that makes it even worse.
Claritin knocks out symptoms from over 200 allergens.
So that was an interview of Tequila and the mother after the news was released that no justice would be pursued. You could see that there's a lot of anger because the judicial system literally has closed the door on them. But it just shows, again, they had separate interviews. They were at this press conference and they were at the meeting with the FBI, but the father didn't get to go. It's just, man, that is sad, guys. I just wanted you guys to see that. Why isn't the mother speaking? I don't know why. Maybe she just, I do know why. The reason why, in my opinion, why she wasn't speaking is because she was in so much pain and disbelief of what happened and the fact that no justice was being pursued, that she was out of words. So she let her daughter speak. That's what my opinion is about that. But anyway, let's segue into another topic. You guys just let me know what you think about that. I just feel really sad about that the family is divided. Another thing I want to share too before we get into that press conference, guys, again, we had a lot to update on this, so there's a lot to catch up on. But this YouTuber, I really like this guy so much. He's so amazing. His name is Martin Lewis or whatever, Lewis Resurrected. And he's really started to do criminal cases. And he did a little bit more digging about that fight. So I talked to you guys, I think last week or 2 weeks ago, about a fight that happened. There was a fight that occurred with Dejanay and Elite. Okay, basically, well, let me tell you, I'll give you a synopsis of what they're alleging happened. And then I'll play the video of Martin Lewis because I really like this guy. He's so incredible. I just really think he does a really great job. Pretty sure if you guys heard of him. But anywho, what the allegation is, there's a little bit more clarification about that fight that happened. And you have to watch my video about that if you want more details about the fight, allegedly. But allegedly what went down was there was a young lady, and she wasn't really, they're alleging that she's transgender. I shouldn't even say the word because I know YouTube's going to get me. But there's this lady that they claim is trans, and she graduated from, here, let me see if I can pull it up really quick. NC, let me see if I can pull up that picture before we talk about her. NC Beat, North Carolina Beat. Let me pull up his article. North Carolina Beat. But basically what this man here, Martin, has found out, he's been doing some digging allegedly. And he alleges that The young lady who graduated, she's trans allegedly, and they were celebrating her graduation. So she graduates, they're celebrating her graduation. And while they were they went to a club to celebrate her graduation, allegedly. Again, this is all what Martin is saying. I don't know if this is true or not, guys. I'm just reiterating what allegedly Martin says he found out. And so they're claiming that everybody, that Dejanay, Elise Hyatt, Winter Donovan, and Joya went with the trans young lady. And I'm gonna stop calling her trans. You already know now. Went with the young lady to the club to celebrate her graduation. So they all went there. And they went to this club. They're all celebrating her graduation. And while they're there, allegedly, they're saying that the other group of girls were on their phone. You know, people be on their phone videotaping themselves dancing and stuff. You know, that's just how it is. Am I sharing this, guys? I hope y'all don't. Can y'all see all this? Okay, no, y'all can't. So they're basically celebrating at the club, and while they're celebrating, they notice, or Dejanay sees this girl on her phone, and she, being paranoid, went up to the girl and was like, "Why are you recording us?" And basically because she thought allegedly that they were recording it to make fun of her friend, or there could be a theory that recording it to like about the whole Shanquella Robinson thing. But what the people are alleging is that Dejanay was mad because she thought that they were recording her because she was making fun of her friend. That's what people are alleging, y'all. I don't know if this is true. Anywho, during that whole thing, Dejanay walked up to the girl and said, "Why are you recording us?" Allegedly. And then the girl said, "I'm not recording y'all. Like, what are you talking about? I'm not even recording you guys." And so Dejanay, you know how Dejanay is, because look what she did to Shanquella. She got all aggressive, got a little attitude, whatever, whoop-to-whoop-to-woo. And by the time they got outside, they got into that fight. But what Martin is alleging is that they didn't know about Dejanay and all of them being the people that were involved in the Shanquella Robinson situation when they first got into the fight. They just allegedly got into the fight because Dejanay was being rude. Okay. Like she per usual, in my humble opinion, always thinks she being aggressive. Let's put this article up again, just so I can show you the picture of who I'm talking about. And I don't even know if this stuff is true. Again, these are just allegations, but y'all know, if y'all know Martin, he does do his digging and he's pretty thorough. So I don't know. Again, I don't know either way. It's an allegation. Okay. But this fight happened basically a couple weeks ago, May 11th, allegedly, or May 10th. We talked about this, and there was, you know, they got beat down, y'all. They got beat down. Okay. Dejanay didn't look like she really got beat down that much. But anyway, here's this picture that I was trying to tell you about. Martin is claiming that this girl is a trans. I don't know if I believe that, guys. I would just keep my opinion that I don't think that's true, but Martin is saying that's what he's saying is the case, and that they went to the club to celebrate her birthday allegedly, and that Dejanay thought that those people were videotaping the friend and making fun of the friend allegedly, and that's how the fight happened. But that they didn't know about they didn't know that Dejanay and Winter and Elise were a part of the Cabo Six until after the fight. That is what Martin is saying. Now, guys, I don't know if that is true. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. But let's hear from Martin himself, because he's the one that is bringing forth this information to us.
So recently, one of the girls that was in the fight had spoken out on YouTube. And today I'm going to give you the short version of that so you don't have to watch that whole interview, as well as that Joya has actually spoke out. And we're going to show you the receipts of that and get into it. Okay, so if you guys haven't seen my live, there was a fight and people were claiming that it was street justice for Shanquella Robinson. And today is a correction as well, because that was not the case. The people in the fight did not know until afterwards that it was Dejanay, Winter, and all them. They did contradict themselves in the interview, claiming that one of them said that it was the girl that the girls who were in that situation in Mexico, but then later on they said that they didn't realize it was them until afterwards. So it wasn't a fight for Shanquella Robinson, and we're going to get into that. If you keep watching, we're going to explain exactly what it was. One of the girls that's friends with Alyssa, Dejanay, Winter, and Joya was having a graduation. So Joya was there. We now know that Joya 100% does not care about Shanquella. To me, this is just a fake-ass friend who was a fake-ass friend that wanted to put on some crocodile tears on the internet and act like she cared. That's my personal opinion, because this is someone that is actively protecting them, even though they let her cop a beating and stand there and watch her. And we'll get into that. Keep watching. But Joya is the one that won't talk about if it was Winter in the audio that was going around on that Instagram live when Winter was talking about why they got into a fight with Shanquella and that she died from alcohol poisoning, etc., etc. Okay? Joya was there, Dejanay, Elise, and Winter. So let me paint a picture. So this happened in Electric Tanquilla. The Carbo 6 female members are there with their friends who allegedly is trans. I don't know how true this is.
Epidemic Sound is basically a royalty-free soundtrack company. So it's where
a dig at her, but they're claiming how true this is. If people are just doing this to take a dig at her, but they're claiming that she is a trans woman. She had a graduation, so we're assuming that they are there to celebrate that graduation. So they're in the bar. A female and her friends are also in this bar, okay? We're going to call this female, we're going to call her Susie, okay? Susie is there with her cousin. Her cousin had her phone up and is filming something. We don't know what she's filming. The Carbo 6 girls are there with the trans woman, alleged trans woman, and apparently she pulls out her titties. So I don't know if this happened while the girl's phone is up, but Dejanay walked up to them aggressively and was like, why are you filming us? Why are you filming us? Try to grab the phone. That situation happened. They're like,
see, here we go again with Dejanay allegedly being aggressive again. This is just a pattern with this girl always going around being the big bully. My gosh, can she sit down? It's like because the legal system decided to not pursue justice, it emboldened this girl. So she just feels invincible that she can go around and just grab people's phones and be aggressive. Like this girl can't sit herself down. My gosh, she's annoying, in my opinion.
like, girl, we're not filming you. And because, you know, they all worked out that they wasn't filming them, whatever they said, they end up getting loud and try to make out as if they were just hating on them because of their trans fan. They try to make it into a transphobia situation, allegedly, according to Susie, sorry. Like, well, we could take this outside. And the girls apparently got louder while the security was there, which was interesting because Dejanay already walked up to them aggressively, so maybe she's talking about the other girls. So they wanted to get their square in, their lick in, while the securities were not there. They didn't want securities to interfere.
You know what these group of girls remind me of? They are mean girls, in my opinion. They are just straight mean girls. Those mean girls that be in school that always bully people. Winter Donovan has that little sinister side. Dejanay is a bully, in my opinion. Joya is just a little follower, and Elise appears to be a mean girl follower. They're a clique of mean girls. That's really what they are. It's just like, dang, they go around just picking fights with people, allegedly.
Outside, apparently they have mouth, they're arguing. Joya is just walking up to them slowly. If you want to see the full video, Facebook page that has the video without the ugly labels covering all over the video, you can go and check that out. So let's get back into the fight. There seems to be some type of argument and the girls are fighting each other, punching. A boy comes in. He's also fighting one of the girls. I believe it's Elise that he's fighting. By the way, there is a part 2 that is not out yet. According to Susie, there's a part 2. So that fight happens, right? Joya ends up getting dragged and beaten. And you know what? I really don't feel bad for her at all. And it's really funny because you can look, you see Elise, they just basically standing there while Joya's getting beat. It's so funny because Joya's like a little.
Wow, they're just standing there while Joya's getting beat. Sounds familiar. These girls, again, they're not legit friends. When they see somebody that's supposed to be their friend getting beat again, now they're just standing around watching while Joya getting beat. I don't know why Joya hangs out with these girls. If they did it before like they did with Shanquella, they gonna do it again like they did in this case. I don't understand. A shame, guys. That is a shame. Sitting there watching Joya get beat up. Like they did, sat there watching Shanquella get beat up. That's the pattern with these mean girls. Straight shameful. I don't understand why Joya is still even hanging out with these people.
A puppet. She's simping for these girls or something because she heavily defending these girls by not saying anything. You know, when it was Elise's birthday, she was like, happy birthday, posted on Instagram. But when it was Shanquella's birthday, everyone's saying justice for Shanquella. She quiet as hell. So I don't want to hear that excuse that Joya is just everyone handles everything differently. No, Joya is fake. She is a fake individual, and she's just as bad as them, or she's a little puppet, and she's stupid enough to believe the lies that they be telling her, if that is the situation, because I don't know what the situation is. So apparently Dejanay left bloody. Don't know how true that is. And they went home. They went the other way. Joya tried to steal a wig. She probably wanted a free wig. And yeah, so this is what Joya ends up posting on her Twitter. She goes,
Wow, Joya over there trying to steal somebody's wig. These girls are just straight bullies. I really like what Chit Chat said. I knew some girls like this in high school who would pick fights, even jump girls for no reason. If they're going to have a fair fight, they would throw kicks, shaking my head. I'm from New York, between you. See, at New York, we have some aggressive folk over there, y'all. Y'all don't play in New York. But anyway, that really makes me summarize what is going on here. I like what Chit Chat had to say. That's what I feel was going on here. They just sitting there loving to pick fights and bully people. They feel like they're big and bad. They join together and they bully people. And that's just disgusting. Now look here what was posted on Joya's page. Joya said, I'm not confirming or denying SHIT, laughing my A off. Believe them. So basically, Joya posted this on her tweet because people were all messaging her about this fight to figure out what really happened and stuff. And so she came out with this tweet saying, I'm not going to confirm or deny anything.
I'm not confirming or denying ish. LeMayo, bitch, believe them. Because everyone probably started asking them questions. Of course, she's not admitting or denying anything because she looked like a little mop head getting beaten up by this girl while her friends just stand there and watched her. This morning was ghetto as F. They said I'm pregnant and fighting. That's insane. That's because she has actually put on a lot of weight. Her stomach must have a lot of issues or something because it's popping out and her face is blown up. And to be honest, Winter, Dejanay all look big. I don't know, they must have been eating Alyssa's food because Alyssa's still skinny as hell. And I'm just like, whoa, they've been eating all the food because they must not be able to go out a lot because people know who they are. I don't believe, though, this is the first time they've gone out. I believe they've gone out before because, again, they weren't beaten up because of Shanquella. They were beaten up because Dejanay was being aggressive towards them and she had a camera towards her and they probably thought she was filming them because of the, Shanquella situation.
Dejanay just love going around picking on people. That's just her pattern. And ever since they found that they're not going to be prosecuted, they just going out living their best life picking on everybody, in my opinion. And why is it a common theme? Why is it that Dejanay is always the aggressive one? Allegedly. She was aggressive towards Shanquella. Now she at clubs being aggressive towards people. Sit your big behind down. I'm just so tired of Dejanay, y'all. I don't know. This girl get on my nerve. And it's not going to be the last of her. We're going to be hearing a lot about her. So it's just getting frustrating with how somebody need to humble that girl so she can sit down. She just needs to be humbled because she just got this extra gumption in her ever since she got away with murder, allegedly. Now she just feels she can go around and pick on everybody.
She also says somebody who got beat up should have effed up my face. Mine looks just fine. Post your face. She goes, you on top of somebody in a fight, you should have whooped they A. Them hoes won't Tom about nothing. She goes, them hoes trying to use the Quella situation for clout because that fight ain't had nothing to do.
So right here, you can see all these quotes from Joya. She's basically confirming the fight right here. So, because I seen some people in my comments trying to say that the fight didn't happen. Well, Joya is on her tweets confirming it, basically, indirectly, because she's saying them HLs trying to use Quella's situation for clout because that fight, see, she's acknowledging the fight exists, ain't have none to do with that at all. So here she's confirming the fight itself wasn't injustice for Shanquella, basically. It indirectly was in a roundabout way. It got somewhat of a slight little minor justice for Shanquella, not really full justice, but it wasn't the intent for why the fight happened. The intent allegedly for why the fight happened is because Dejanay was being the mean bully that she typically is, in my humble opinion, was going around being aggressive and initiated this whole fight in the first place. So it's like indirectly karma came back to her because of her nature of being an aggressive bully.
With that at all, which is true because they didn't know who they were until after. She also retweeted, y'all got a situation for clout because that fight ain't had nothing.
And also this tweet right here even confirms that the fight happened allegedly. She says, you on top of somebody in a fight, you should whoop they ASS. Them HOs won't Tom about none. She have all this grammatical errors. Girl, learn how to write before you try to talk mess. Anyway, in the video, you will see that there is a person on top of her, that Joya's on the ground and someone is over her hitting her. So right there in this tweet, she's confirming what we observed on the video. So Joya herself is literally confirming that fight happened. So for anybody trying to come in the comments saying it didn't happen, Joya herself is confirming things that was saw in the video, and she's confirming the fight here. But she's literally stating that the intent for the fight was not related to Shanquella. She's saying they're using that for clout. The real reason for the fight was because Dejanay's being the bully that she is, in my opinion.
To do with that at all, which is true because they didn't know who they were until after. She also retweeted, y'all gotta start checking y'all sources and facts before you post up. She goes, I just be minding my MF business and people be bothering me. No, apparently Dejanay, your friend, because you know your little puppet was annoying other people who was filming or something. And because you know also retweeted, y'all gotta start checking y'all sources and facts.
So I want to stop it to read the whole thing because he didn't read the whole thing to you guys, so I'm going to stop it. She said, y'all got to start checking y'all sources and facts before y'all post stuff because y'all was on here saying Jamie Foxx family was preparing for the worst when that man been home speaking SHIT on people is real, shaking my head. So she's basically saying people be posting things that's not true. And she used the Jamie Foxx example.
Facts before you post up. She goes, I just be
now again, I want to pause it so I can read everything to you guys. I just be minding my business, my MF business, and people be bothering me. Then she said a man called Otto was a good movie. Okay, she talked about something else there.
minding my MF business and people be bothering me. No, apparently Dejanay, your friend, because you know your little puppet was annoying other people who was filming or something because she wasn't minding her business allegedly, and that's why you got beat. She goes, I'm done with letting people play with me. Figure it out like I always do. So that's that situation. I have no respect for her, nor do I have any respect.
So kudos to Martin for getting that detail about, the underlying intent behind it. Because at first the news was going around that the intent for the fight was to get justice for Shanquella, when that wasn't the situation. It was just Shanquella being aggressive per usual. Not Shanquella. Sorry guys, it's early, so I'm not thinking. Dejanay being aggressive per usual. Dejanay being a bully per usual. Okay, so she just aggravates me. Here, it's supposed to be this is the fight. References the fight. I wonder. Oh wow. Oh my god, guys, this is like the real fight. Wow. Okay, this video is better. You can see Elise really going in. This video is actually better. Okay, guys. What I'm gonna do is because I can't play the video, unfortunately. The fight is here in this link, but I'm gonna put the link in the comments too for you guys to have the fight video. So you guys will have that. I will post it also in the comments. That video is actually more clear than the video that North Carolina Beat had. You could like actually full on see Elise fighting. Her wig cap is on. It looked like her wig came off. You could see the full fight. Like they're like going hands in hands. So I'm gonna put that in the comments after this video too, so you guys can watch that for yourself, because YouTube will strike the page if I actually post it. All right, so now let's segue into the press conference. There was a press conference that happened in Washington, D.C. this Friday. And during that press conference, they had a meeting. Before the press conference, they had a meeting with some of the representatives of the president and the White House, the president and Kamala Harris. So they are here talking about what happened with that. They also are somewhat hinting that they are aware, not them, but one of the individuals from the Million Man March, or whatever it's called, was acknowledging somewhat indirectly that he heard about some stuff on social media. So I'm thinking he's implying that he heard about the fight, and he's somewhat saying that's kind of what justice is going on. So let's hear what they had to say in this press conference. We're going to kind of delve into this. I'm assuming you guys probably watched this already. So this is more of a reaction video and us talking about it and giving our opinion and thoughts on what we're hearing.
Asking for them to help her get justice. So I want y'all to give a big round of applause for Salamandra Robinson, the mother of Shanquella Robinson.
Yes, I'm here for Shanquella Robinson. Shanquella was my daughter. We loved Shanquella. Shanquella had a family that loved her, and she was an amazing child. And she loved people. She did no wrong to no one. And we just heartbreaking how we seen a video of her being brutally beaten, and no one has been arrested yet. Someone should have been arrested right after the video was released.
Amen.
But unfortunately, that this Shanquella, no one has done anything about it. No one helped her when she was in there being brutally beaten. They telling her to just fight back, fight back. Someone should have had sense enough to step up and help her. I'll stop the fight, but they didn't. They continued to watch it and laugh and killed my child. And I need justice from somebody. Yeah. Somebody needs to be arrested for this. You know, we can't sleep, we can't eat. You know, we have barely holding down a job because we're not getting justice for her. She needed justice. She can't rest either. And I need people to stand up.
Can you tell me how you found out about it?
I found out through a phone call. I got a phone call saying that, and really, when I got the phone call, they were saying she was alcohol poisoned. She wasn't responding. really Shanquella it wasn't no such thing as alcohol poison. Later on, when the video came out, they called me lying, even came to my house lying. Didn't know that a video had been leaked out. And we just heartbroken. You know, we just don't know which way to go, which way to turn.
Guys, that really took me out. Man, that took me out what Salamandra said. They can't eat, they can't sleep, they could barely hold down a job. And the reason why is because they cannot get any peace because there's no justice. There's no closure. Everybody has turned their back on this family, from the legal system, the state's attorney's office. Literally, I don't even think the president gonna do anything, or Kamala Harris. I just lost hope in them. And Mexico. Now, Mexico's dropped the ball too, because the evidence that they provided is insufficient, and they failed in so many ways in Mexico, which is why there's so many problems. Number one, they failed to even get a qualified person to do the autopsy. There's so many failures that happen in Mexico, even with their medical field. Like, they don't have proper medical treatment over there. They just don't have a lot of stuff going on. So they failed as it relates to the autopsy. They went and they embalmed the body. They didn't have any of these officers do a full investigation. They let these Cabo 6 people fly out and leave and flee the area. They did so much failures on their end, which is why this case is all messed up in the first place. But at the same time, the legal system here in America could do something. There's a video that shows a crime either way. So for them to say they can't do anything at all, I don't agree with that at all. But I just feel sad that the mom is not able to sleep, eat, or even barely hold a job because of this. It's so sad.
You're not alone. You're not alone, Miss Robinson. Justice for Shanquella 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 Robinson.
No, I don't have anything else to say right now, but I'm just trying to get justice for my child, and I'm not gonna stop until we can get justice.
Amen. Y'all give it up for this strong mother who refused to be silent. Are we gonna stand with her? Are we gonna stand with her? Are we gonna stand with her? You're not alone, Miss Sullivan. And then you will hear from her sister, Shanquella Long, who's going to tell you some of the things she told the White House officials about the cover-up. Sometimes, Tamika and the law, we often say, especially in this town, you all understand, after Watergate, it became a famous phrase to say the cover-up was worse than the crime. Now, Shanquella's going to tell you a little bit about the cover-up, but I'm so sad to say, not even the cover-up was worse than the crime, what we saw in that video. I mean, as a father of Black girls, you cannot imagine your child being naked, not attacking, not threatening in any way, but just being savagely beaten to death. And this is what they tell them what happened. Y'all give it up for Shanquella Long, the sister of Shanquella Robinson, who's been with her mother fighting the whole time.
Hello, everyone. I'm gonna be quick. The FBI knew about what was going on with my sister before the video even surfaced. So that had to be at least 2 weeks prior to the video being leaked. 3 individuals came to our homes and said that there was no fighting. You know how the young people say no hands was thrown. We are on an emotional roller coaster dealing with this. It's been frustrating. It's exhausting. We have to show up in pain as here today and fight for my sister. I stand on this. I don't care what the FBI says or anyone else says. I stand on this cold-heartedly. What happened to my sister, her untimely demise, was caused by the individuals that was on that trip. And I said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. She needed help then, and she needs help now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We talked about when we were dealing with George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, siblings. When you share beds with people when you're little children, that's a bond that, is so tight. And for Shanquella to have to stand here and talk about how they lied, about how they killed her sister, and then they still have all the evidence in the world. They have what we call ocular proof, what Shakespeare talked about in Othello, ocular proof. And they still ain't doing that. That's what had us outraged. And that's why we had to use all our resources to make sure this meeting happened with the White House, Dr. Chambers. And so we will continue to put it all on the line for our people. And we're so proud that the young people, Tamika Mallory, the young people are following the example and taking it to the next level. And we can't be more proud than the Million Youth March from Charlotte, who've been marching, petitioning, protesting, and calling them out from the very beginning. And so we want to have Mario Black from Charlotte, North Carolina, come and break it down as only our youth can.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I say I'm Mario Black, founder of Million Youth March of Charlotte and Salisbury, located in Charlotte. We've been standing with the family of Shanquella Robinson until justice is served. And that's what we're here for. We all know that no justice, no peace. Arrest the Cabo Six. Say it. No justice, no peace. Arrest the Cabo Six. No justice, no peace. Arrest the Cabo Six. And that's exactly what we want. So in hearing Suanne Robinson and Tamika Mallory and Attorney Crump talking today, I am encouraged by what happened at the White House today. So we're going to continue to fight with the Robinson family, continue to fight with Attorney Crump, Tamika Mallory, Suanne Robinson until we get justice. No justice, no peace. Arrest the Cabo Six.
I love that, Mario. Thank you for your leadership. Give him another big round of applause. Give these young people from Charlotte a big round of applause. You know, it's so deep, Mario. Tamika and Suanne and I were talking, leaving the White House, and I thought what Tamika said was really thought-provoking. The Cabo Six thought they got away with it. But knowing that Miss Salamandra and Tequila had an audience at the White House, they won't be sleeping comfortable tonight talking about we got away with it. And so the final person we will have speak to you before we take some of your questions is a man who has been in the struggle for decades. And we're so grateful he did not think it robbery to come and stand with Miss Salamandra and the family of Shanquella Robinson. My hero, a great, great civil rights icon, Dr. Ben Chavis.
And before we hear from Ben, I just wanted to comment on what Ben Crump said. Ben Crump said that, you know, he doesn't think the Cabo Six are going to be sleeping at peace because they have met with the White House representatives and, you know, they're probably worried. Honestly, I don't think the Cabo Six are worried at all. They're laughing in all of our faces, as sad as this is, guys. If they weren't, they wouldn't have felt bold enough to show their face and go to a club and then have the audacity after being shown across the United States and the world of beating somebody to death, allegedly, going and confronting another person at a club. That tells me that they think that this whole thing's over, they got away with it, and they're living their best life. So I just don't think they're going to feel any type of worry or concern unless the White House or somebody does something. And I don't think they are, because number one, the red tape is pretty much flawed in terms of what the Attorney General of Mexico filed. They don't have enough evidence. The evidence that they provided is insufficient. They know that. They could care less about Shanquella. Mexico doesn't care. And they're not going to do anything to fix it and try to really bring forth any evidence that's going to solidify the case. They don't care about this American young lady. They just want to make it appear as though they did something so that they can preserve their reputation and hopefully retain the tourists that come to that area. So that's what's really going on, because the president can't do anything, to be honest. They can't. He can talk about it, but without the evidence needed to prosecute, and without the state attorney giving their stamp of approval and filing a petition with the magistrate, there's nothing that's going to happen. So I don't see Cabo 6 being afraid at all. They're living their best life, but they're not going to be able to live their best life because people in the community are not going to let them.
Thank you very much. Sandra Bland. Say her name. Breonna Taylor. Say her name. Breonna Taylor. Shanquella Robinson. Say her name. Shanquella Robinson. This is not an isolated case. I'm going to be very short.
Man, I got to comment on this comment. Yeah, Betty, I'm with Betty. Where is Al Sharpton lately? He really has been dropping the ball a lot lately. He hasn't really been involved in a lot of things. I'm with Betty. Where is Al Sharpton? Maybe he has some health issues. I don't know. But I'm just wondering, how come he hasn't really been vocal on a lot of these cases, especially Shanquella Robinson? I'm with you, Betty. Where is he, girl? Where is he? Girl, you had me stop the video for that.
Short and very blunt. I want to thank the National Council of Negro Women for allowing us to have the press conference here. I want to thank the real Attorney General of the United States, Attorney Ben Crump. I want to thank Attorney Robinson. I want to thank Tamika Mallory. I want to thank my young freedom fighters from Charlotte, North Carolina. In this city, on this street in the mall, in 1995, we had 1 million black men that took a pledge. You harm one of our women. If Shanquella had been a white woman, we wouldn't be here. Now I'm telling you on behalf of black men, it's time for us to stand up. If we can't get justice from the State Department, if we can't get justice from the FBI, we're going to get justice. Black men are going to get justice for Shanquella Robinson. Enough said.
Enough said. Thank you so much, Dr. Ben Chavis. At this time, we'll take some of your questions if you have any. Oh, yes. We're encouraged that an extradition can happen. Attorney Robinson will break it down again for you, just so we'll understand completely that there's a protocol. The only question is the State Department going to engage that protocol for this black woman? And Attorney Robinson said it best, Malcolm X's birthday. And the quote specifically is, the black woman is the most unprotected, the most neglected, and the most disrespected citizen in America. And so this is an opportunity for the administration and the State Department to say, no, we respect all our citizens equally, and black women matter. This is their opportunity to say that message, and they can say it as my grandmother taught me, not with your words, but your actions speak so loud that we need not hear your words. That is our message from Shanquella Robinson. And I think when Steve Benjamin looked in Miss Salamandra's eyes and said, we're going to do everything we can to make sure that we help you. I think he came from a place knowing that Sue Ann Robinson laid it out how they can help him. So Attorney Robinson, won't you quickly address the protocol and what can be done?
The protocol is that the U.S. State Department has to acknowledge the documentation that the Attorney General from Mexico in Cabo has already submitted. It has to be acknowledged by the U.S. State Department. And then once it's acknowledged and they accept the documents as they are, an extradition process would start in federal court here. So we would all know that it was happening. It would be happening in secret. We wouldn't have to ask anybody. We wouldn't have a press conference. We wouldn't have to have a meeting. It would be a federal proceeding that would happen with the person who was named as the aggressor in the Mexican investigation. And so they would have their opportunity, their due process to object to being extradited. And then at that point, the process would play out how it would be. So we're only asking for the protocol to be followed.
And I would just add, we were with Steve Benjamin, who is the director of White House Public Engagement, who has a direct line to President Biden. We also communicated with Stephanie Young, who is one of the officials working with Vice President Kamala Harris. So we're going straight to the top. She deserves to have respect and consideration from those who we march in the street for during the pandemic to pull a lever to vote to say, give my child an opportunity at the American promise of liberty and justice for all. So we're going straight to the top, and we expect them to not disrespect or neglect Shanquella Robinson. Well, we have talked to their liaisons about it. I expect to have a direct conversation with Vice President Harris about it. She, as a woman of color, I think will have even more sentiment to make sure that everything that the federal government can do for a young Black woman who we all watch be unjustifiably killed on video, that there has to be something that happens. I want to believe in my heart that they will talk about this at the highest levels. We know that White House press correspondence officials, we want them asking the questions, the April Ryans of the world, the Yamisha Sendors, we want them asking those questions. We understand we're dealing with this crisis of the debt ceiling, but that doesn't mean that we just forget that we can't do anything else. We have a whole entire State Department that isn't working on the debt ceiling, so they can take their time working on Shanquella Robinson. Are there any more questions? Well, I'll say this. Tamika Mallory ain't gonna give them long.
I do want to just make sure to say, so that it is not reported incorrectly, that they did not say what they would do, right? They didn't say it's going to happen or we're going to make the State Department or anyone else do anything. They said they were going to look into the situation. And I think the most important thing that happened today is that we brought all the facts and laid it out clearly and succinctly so that they can understand. Because oftentimes they're getting their news sometimes from the same places that we all get our news from. And it's broken into pieces and you don't necessarily understand all that happened in this situation and others. And so I think what happened today was an opportunity for them to hear where the holes are and go back and figure out if those things can now be remedied in order for there to be, some path to justice for Shanquella's family.
Would you like to press?
I'm not trying to be negative, guys. I'm not trying to be negative, so don't come for me. But if Mexico does not remedy the holes, I don't see this case being resolved. One of the big issues that we've seen here is how poor Mexico handled this case. They didn't even take a toxicology test. They just basically what they did is they took the test and they never printed out the results. So there's nothing in writing of the results of her blood alcohol level. They had to call up Mexico to find out if Shanquella had alcohol in her system. And they verbally got a comment about it. That is not going to fly and hold up in a court. In court, trying to prosecute a case like this, the jury is going to want to see evidence of a printed toxicology report, not somebody verbally on the phone saying, oh, there was no alcohol. How are you to rely upon that? That's how weak the evidence was because of Mexico. So it's like, it doesn't matter how many times the FBI and the state attorney reevaluate this evidence. The problem really relies and stems from Mexico's horrible handling of this case in the first place. The evidence is weak. And I talked about this on a other video, is that Mexico has a huge problem with prosecuting cases, and they have a low conviction rate because they don't know how to even investigate stuff. They don't have qualified people working on their cases. They just horribly dropped the ball on this case, which is why I get why the prosecutor is saying they can't prosecute it, but I still feel they can at least file charges for a felony assault because we saw that on the video. But at least something. And maybe Mexico can revise the red tape or red poll, whatever that is, revise the language to say they want to extradite the aggressor for felony assault. That would be a solid, for sure, solid charge because they have a video of the assault taking place. So I love that they really are fighting, and they need to keep fighting. They cannot be quiet until something happens, because the minute you be quiet, everybody's going to forget about this girl. Everybody.
Certainly. I think they have a platform, and when they use that platform, it helps raise the issue to the forefront of the American consciousness. And that's what we want. I will say the Congressional Black Caucus members have told us it's going to be a priority for them also to say that Shanquella Robinson life matters. And so we just got to keep everybody focused on the mission of justice. What we cannot do, Hassan, is let them sweep this under the rug. And we know that there's a reason why Sue-Ann and Tamika and the Beehive and us got to keep coming back continuously. Because, y'all, if we let a couple of months go by and we don't say nothing about Shanquella Robinson, nobody will say nothing about Shanquella Robinson.
Exactly.
So keep saying her name, Shanquella Robinson.
Shanquella Robinson.
Say her name.
Shanquella Robinson.
Shanquella Robinson. Any more questions?
I know they're calling them the Cabo Six, I believe. So, and a lot of people have seen them on social media, basically living their lives freely. What do you guys have to say to them? They're just out and about, living,
Won't be long. I'm gonna let my co-counsels Tamika and Mario take this question. You want to go first, Mario? Okay, then Tamika,
We do not condone bullying or violence, but don't get too comfortable. There's still no justice, no peace. And if you've been on social media, I'm sure that's why you asked. We seen some stuff last week. No justice, no peace.
See, this comment right here is where I believe he's acknowledging the fight that happened at the club. And he seems, based on his demeanor, he seems pretty happy about it. That basically he's seeing what happened with the fight with Dejanay and what's her name? Elise Hyatt and Winter Donovan and Joya. And he's basically saying that is street justice that's going on right now. That's what it appears that he's saying. Let me know what y'all think he's saying. That's what I think he's saying, because he's referring to what happened on social media. And that was what allegedly happened, was that fight recently.
Arrest the Cabo 6. And then we're going to change it up. No justice, no rest. Arrest the Cabo 6. So don't get too comfortable out there.
Thank you, Mario. Queen?
I would just say that, you know, we do take seriously, just like no one wanted to see Shanquella Robinson being beaten on the video to death. We also don't want to see anyone else beaten to death. We don't want it to ever be out there that this family is supporting or promoting that people be harmed. But what we do know with our common sense is that when our government fails to move and do what it needs to do, then the community believes that its only recourse is to step in to try to protect our sister Shanquella and themselves. Because we obviously have some very dangerous people out there that can beat a woman to death and have others to stand by and watch it and do nothing. These are some very dangerous individuals. And if they did it to Shanquella, they could do it to someone else.
Exactly. And that's what they were trying to do at the club. They are apparently allegedly dangerous. Look what they did at the club. Allegedly, Dejanay was the aggressor again, approaching a girl who's on her phone, not even bothering her, trying to be aggressive towards her about her phone. So that to me, what happened last week or the week before is an apparent sign that these individuals are dangerous. They're mean girls that are willing to pick a fight and be aggressive and get in these very violent fights at the drop of a dime. At the drop of a dime. So I am with Tamika Mallory on that.
And so I think that the question, it should never be a question to this family about what they want to see happen, but it should instead be turned on the United States officials to say that you need to do something to ensure that no one else feels that justice needs to be in their hands, but that the system plays out as it is supposed to.
Right. The legal system needs to take justice in their hands and give confidence to the community that they are doing their job. They haven't even done the state attorney. Haven't even stepped out and did a press conference to talk to the public. They just talked to them behind closed doors that they're not going to do anything about the case. That's unacceptable. The whole community deserves to hear from the state attorney, because it's making the community insecure and lack of confidence in the legal system's ability to acquire justice for this family. And where there is a sense of insecurity and lack of confidence in our judicial system, that causes the community to rise up and take matters into their own hands. When the system does not work, it causes commotion and discord in the community. So I am with Tamika Mallory on that topic too.
Thank you, Tamika. Angelo, anything else? Monique Preston, anything else? Because in conclusion, with her mother standing beside this podium, we want to remind you what this is about. Look at the face of this beautiful young woman who had her entire life ahead of her. She is worth the fight. Will you all fight with her? She is worth the fight. Will you all fight with her? She is worth the fight. Will you all fight with her? Say her name. Say her name. Say her name. Thank you to Sue Ann Robinson. Thank you to Until.
That's pretty much the end of the conference. So those guys, as you can see, there is a lot of stuff that has happened in the past few weeks. I just haven't been able to get to it. So this video is really giving you guys an update on all the stuff and the concerns arising in this case. A lot has happened, as you can see. There seems to be some tension and divide between the mother and the father, and the father's being excluded from a lot of the communications and what's going on. And it's very sad that he's only able to get information from social media. That is heartbreaking. Seems like a common theme that has happened with the father. And you can see that they have met with the White House officials. They have not met directly with Kamala Harris and Biden. What's frustrating is it feels like this administrator only cares if the person has a certain position. Like I read one of the people said that Kamala Harris was at the basketball game of Miss Griner, Brittany. What's that girl's name? Yeah, here Betty said, Joe Biden and Kamala, please step up. Jenny says, this is so sad. That's why I don't have many friends. I don't trust anyone. If they're not my ride or die, I don't want to be around them. I agree with you. You got to really keep your friends very small and limited, and have keep your circle small, because you can't trust people these days. You just can't. It's very heartbreaking and very unfortunate. Let's see. Somebody said that Kamala Harris was at a basketball game for Brittany Griner, whatever her name is. I'm trying to find that comment in here. Where is that comment? Yeah, they were saying Kamala Harris at the basketball game. That's what made me feel like, if that's the case, if she really is at Brittany Grimes. Oh, here, Betty said it. Hi, Betty. Love you, girl. Betty said Kamala Harris was at Brittany Grimes' game. Wow. So it seems like Kamala Harris and Biden seem to focus their attention on something where they get some type of clout. So because Brittany Grimes has all this influence, allegedly, because she's a very famous women's basketball player, they focus their attention over there. But they don't care about the underdog. I'm just so frustrated with these people out here, these politicians claiming they care about Black issues or whatever issues that they claim they stand for. And then when it comes down to really, really doing something, they don't do it. I'm just like frustrated, because I've seen Kamala Harris comment on other cases. She has made a comment about what happened to George Floyd and other people, but I've never, let me know in the chat if you guys have heard her come out and talk anything about this case about Shanquella. I don't think I've heard her mention one thing about it. She's just acting like she don't care. And I used to be a big fan of her, but I'm like, at this point, I'm done with her. I'm done with her, because she's really disappointing me. It makes me wonder and question, what is really her intent? Where really is her heart at? Does she really care about injustices in a society that she claims she cares about? It makes me think that she really doesn't care. And she only cares if it's going to get her elected, or if it's going to get her some type of positive feedback from the community. Because she has not mentioned one thing. Let me know in the chat. I might have missed something, but I don't recall her ever saying anything about this case, even showing empathy. Didn't even go to the funeral. Didn't do anything. But she went to the funeral of Mr. Nichols, Tyree Nichols, whatever his name was, that just passed away. She went there and had a speech. Why didn't she go to Shanquella Robinson's case? Oh, she went to Tyree Nichols' case because it had to do with law enforcement. And that's a big issue in America. But when it comes to Black on Black crime, because that's what this was. Well, actually, Tyree Nichols was a Black on Black crime, but he was law enforcement. They were law enforcement that were involved. But in this particular tragedy, when it's Black on Black crime, all of a sudden, we don't hear Kamala Harris saying anything. That's the problem. Where is she at? I'm done. I'm done with her. I used to think she was cool, but I'm done with Kamala, because this ain't it. This is very disappointing. You over here at Brittany Grimes' game, when this family over here cannot get any justice, and you claim you care about Black lives? No, you don't. You're lying. You only care when it suits you. But if it doesn't suit you, you could care less, because you said nothing about this girl's death at all, period. Point blank. And I haven't even heard Biden say anything. And he made that little comment when he was being elected, talking about, you ain't Black if you don't vote for me. Boy, bye. Boy, you don't care nothing about no black. You don't care anything about Black lives. I'm sorry. He just does not care about Black lives. I'm sorry. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I just got to comment on that. I know it's kind of controversial, the stuff I'm saying. And I know if you guys love Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, I'm sorry if I offended you, but I have my own opinion and you are very entitled to your opinion. But I'm just giving mine and I'm just frustrated. Okay. Okay. Cynthia says, bless the father for using his own money to purchase Shanquella's grave marker. Right, Cynthia. He really is a very humble man who wants to really provide for his daughter on his own. That's why he chose not to use the GoFundMe money also. Right. Betty says that the FBI dropped the ball in the U.S. He doesn't want to prosecute some of the Cabo 6 demons. No, the FBI allegedly covering for these demons. I know allegedly it feels like that's what they're doing. They just don't care. They just want us all to forget about this case. That's why they were so happy when the family was quiet. When the family was quiet for those several months, they were loving it because they were like, oh, we're just going to ignore this case and move on with our life. Right. I'm saying, yeah, like people are saying, Joe talked about he running for president again. Well, you're not doing anything to show you really are. He's not an assertive president, I feel like. I feel like he's very passive about a lot of stuff. I need you to be bold. If you're the president, I need you to be bold and address some stuff. Okay. And if it's controversial, you need to be bold enough to have a stance, do something. Because you having people disappointed in you, and elections and stuff is going to be starting next year. And you already know Trump is running, and people are going to be flocking to Trump because Trump is more assertive. And like I said, I don't care for either side because I am independent. So please don't come for me. I don't really care about either side. Anyway, I'm more of a neutral person in this matter, but I'm just saying because people want somebody who is going to be a leader. And it feels like Joe Biden is just kind of just chilling in the background. I don't know. Y'all let me know. I might be missing something. Let me know, the people that are Joe Biden fans, because we got people that love Joe Biden. Let me know what y'all president is doing because I'm not seeing it. I am not seeing it. And like I said, I've been Hope is saying that she thinks Miss Harris is phony. Girl, you might be right because she's not showing me, her actions are not showing me she really cares about Black issues. I'm not seeing it. Okay. Okay. Cynthia says her opinion is that Biden isn't the one stopping this. It's the government. Okay. Okay, Cynthia, you might be right. I might be just frustrated, girl. My emotions be getting to me. So I like your opinion. You might be right because he really can't do anything. There's a thing called separation of powers. And so the best he could do is advocate and kind of encourage the state attorney to look into it and encourage the FBI to look into it, but he can't force anything. He can just use his voice to encourage these particular departments. So Cynthia is right in a sense of what she's saying, that we can't really fully blame Biden. What I really want is just for him to use his voice to encourage these departments to take another look at the case and try to see if he can talk to the Mexican government to get them to do their part and really looking more into the case and submit the sufficient evidence we need to fill in those gaps as it relates to causation. He can really work with the president of Mexico to get the officials in Mexico to really do their part. So that's I feel the role he can play in this. We'll see though. We can't really give up on Biden yet because he just was presented with this information on Friday. Let's wait and see what he does with that information. Okay. Let's see if he actually does something. So let's give him some slack and let's hear and see what they're going to do. I'm just saying, I haven't heard anything from Kamala. Where is Kamala at? Where is she at? She didn't say nothing. She could at least come out and give a statement. That's all I'm asking from Kamala right now. Just come out and say something. You have not said one thing about this girl's death. You have not expressed empathy. You have not called the family to say, I'm sorry about what happened. You claim up and down that you care so much about Black lives and Black issues and people dying but when it comes to a personal matter where there's Black on Black crime, you say nothing. It seems like you only care if it fits your agenda. If it's a police matter where there's police involved, when it's police involved, all of a sudden she talks about it. But if it's not police and it's a civilian matter and it's Black on Black crime, all of a sudden, nothing. That's why it sounds like a political agenda to me. And what I'm saying right now, I'm giving a disclaimer. I know it's controversial and people may not agree with me. I'm just saying, I just want her to just give an opinion and give a condolence to the family, show that she cares, talk about how she doesn't think that, maybe she could even be a woman and say, we should be encouraging to be true friends and supportive to one another. She has so much influence. And all we asking is to use your voice, girl. You got all this power. Use your voice, please. You said nothing about this case. You over here at Brittany Grimes' alleged birth. I mean, allegedly, I don't know if this is true, but according to Betty, she allegedly had Brittany Grimes over there getting her clout on because she's trying to create an image. They don't realize they got a few months left before the election year comes, and people going to be flocking over to Mr. Trump over there because Trump is very assertive and he is very a go-getter. So if they keep being passive, that's going to be something people are going to be looking at, and people are going to be changing their votes. I'm just saying. They need to do something. Now, I don't think Trump is any better. I'm just saying, but hey, people are going to look at the lesser of the two evils, and they're going to pick whatever they think is going to be the lesser of the two. And I'm hearing people around talking about how they like that Trump how he handled things. I don't know. I don't care for Trump either way, but I'm just being real. But I'm just saying, people out there are going to be looking to vote for Trump if they don't see this administration step up and do something. I'm just saying, y'all. I know I'm talking some controversial stuff. I know people gonna be like, girl, bye. But still, I got to be real with my opinion. I gotta be real with my opinion. Like Cynthia said, who care about us? Girls, preach. Who does care about us, okay? Yeah, Hope says, no votes for Biden or Trump. Not voting at all. And me either. I don't want either one, girl. I don't want either one. And I vote every time, like Hope Coffee said, I vote every single time. I make sure because I always encourage people to vote and use their voice. I really hope there's somebody else besides those two, because I just can't stand either one. I'm sorry. Why am I telling y'all this? I'm just being real, y'all. I'm sorry if I'm controversial right now, but I can't stand either one of them right now. I'm with Coffee. I don't see either side right now providing any good candidates. I really hope somebody come out of somewhere and just try to run, because I'll vote for that other person. I'm not voting for Biden or Trump. Sorry. Neither one of them, y'all. Sorry. I love all y'all out there. And if y'all love Joe, that's you. I respect your opinion, but I'm just giving mine, okay? Just let me have my little opinion. You have your little opinion, okay? Betty says Kamala Harris gave Brittany Grimes a big hug at the game. Yeah, she over here getting clout. She's trying to build her reputation with Grimes because she know Grimes has influence, and the media is all over Brittany Grimes right now. So Kamala wants to get a bite of the cake. She wanted to get the bite of the cake over there hugging up and socializing with her. When we got a whole beautiful American citizen here whose life is being trampled upon and forgotten by the judicial system. I don't take these people seriously anymore because they claim up and down they care, but they don't show it in their actions. Come on now. Make it make sense. Yeah, like Betty said, they could Joe and Kamala can speak on this issue, right? Just at least say something. Use your voice and your influence to try to persuade the particular departments that do have influence to do their job. Now, I know they can't actually do anything like direct, but I feel like Joe Biden can at least talk to the Mexican officials, though. He's the president. He can go talk to the president of Mexico. He could talk to that president to go and talk to the attorney general to try to resubmit more evidence to build this case up and strengthen it and fill in the gap and strengthen the causation link. That's the part where I feel like he really does have a huge impact. He can go talk to Mexico. He can go talk to the State Department. He can go talk to the FBI. That's where I want to see him really step up. And I need to see Kamala at least give a statement, because she has never acknowledged Shanquella at all. At all. That's why I feel like they don't really truly care about Black lives. They only care about if it relates to police brutality. That's the only time they care. If like a cop kills a Black person, all of a sudden Kamala Harris is going to the funeral. She's speaking about it. But if it's a Black person that kills another Black person and they're not cops, all of a sudden that life doesn't matter anymore because it doesn't fit her agenda and it's not going to get her votes. I should even got on politics, y'all. I'm not even into politics like that. Sorry, guys. I just got emotional about Shanquella. Hope Coffee says it's amazing how Miss Harris sorority sisters who are black voted high and low for her. Exactly. Come on, y'all. Black sisters. This is a black sister that lost her life to another black sister. Step up and be a voice. We should be standing up against black on black crime too. That's why other communities laugh at us because they're like, wow, they only care if a cop kills another black person, but they don't care if another black person kills a black person. What about black on black crime? They laugh at us. They laugh because they're like, we don't really practice what we preach in the black community in general. Let's just take it off of Kamala. It happens in general. Just regular you and I, citizens. A lot of citizens don't care about black on black crime. A lot of citizens don't go out and protest when another black person kills another black civilian. Why not? Why not? Why don't we stand up against any murder against a black person when there's no justice? I don't understand. Apart says they can do what they want to do when the hue is different. It's all about the melanin. Take a look at your skin. Always a harder fight when the skin is brown. That's why you better know Jesus. Right, you better know Jesus. I agree with that to a T. Jesus is my everything. You gotta really rely upon him that he's gonna bring justice to this. I really agree with you apart on that. And the Father, he knows that very well too. Shanquella's father knows that very well. He's really putting his trust to God. And I agree with apart when she said, or he or she, I don't know if she said, let me know apart what your gender is. I'm sorry, love. But I agree with apart when he or she said, that we really need to keep praying steadfast and just pray because that's what the Father's doing. He's trying to believe that God will get the justice. Hope says it's amazing how Miss Harris. Oh yeah, I like what Hope said that. Yeah, vote for Jesus. Amen. Coffee. I agree with you on that. Yeah, I love my subscribers. Y'all know about God in the chat. I just love it. I seen it. It was on TV. No, allegedly. Okay, girl. She says she saw that. Okay, it's not allegedly now. Okay. All right, Betty girl. Ditto, my vote is meaningful to me. Right. My vote is meaningful to me too. I'm not going to just vote because they're the two prospects. No, I pray there's somebody else that comes along that has a good track record because these people are not it. And I don't know, why don't Trump, does Biden really think he should run again, y'all? Does he really confidently think that? He seems like he has a lot of health issues. Sometimes during these press conferences, he don't even know where he is. He over here shaking the hand of the air, falling off his bike, talking to nobody in the air. Like, this man doesn't look like he is mentally. They need to change the laws, y'all. I think they need to change the law. Number one, there needs to be an age limit, and they need to look at people's comprehension. There needs to be a comprehension analysis before a person runs for president, and a health analysis. And they need to go through a whole psychiatric evaluation and mental comprehension evaluation before people become president, because they literally let anybody run for president. And these people, like, feel like Biden's getting dementia or something. This man look like he don't even know what's going on. Y'all seen all those videos out there where he's shaking the hand of the air. He talking to the air and stuff, smiling like he having a conversation with nobody. He don't know what's going on. He don't even know where he at. Sometimes he answers questions and they got to kind of hone him in because he don't know what he's saying. So I don't think he has the mental capacity to be president. I feel like that is a criteria that needs to be added in order to qualify people to become president. And also, I think they need to add to that criteria. The law needs to be amended, y'all. They need to change that because there should be another criteria where a person who's a president should not be facing criminal charges like Trump is. That should be a part of the criteria. If you're facing criminal charges in any way, you're not a law-abiding citizen. Why do you get to run for president? That is so weird and contradictory. Don't you think that's kind of weird? Anybody can just run for president? I feel like, no, you need to be a representation of the ideal American if you're trying to run for president. And we don't want anybody in there with felony convictions or facing felony charges and have a laundry list of felony charges, and now he gets to run for president. Make it make sense. This don't make sense to me, y'all. I feel like the law is outdated. The criteria for people running for president is outdated, and it needs to be revised. It needs to be revised. Okay. Betty said, Sleepy Joe must go. Man, y'all like my best friends in the chat. I love y'all so much. Okay, Pardon Above says she's a female. Okay, girl, I should have known you was a female because you assist the Holy Ghost. You are so anointed. You be saying some really good things in the chat. I should have known she was a female. Anyway, she says they only care about the black vote. Right, that's all they care about, girl. That's all they care about. She said, thank you, Queen. Oh, you are a queen too. So thank you, Apart and Above, Queen. Hope Coffee says black on black crime is out of control. Girl, let's just keep it real. You're right. It is. And we need to just march against that alone. We do. Why aren't we doing that? It's so true. I agree with you, Hope. Because if you guys see a lot of the stuff happening with police brutality and stuff, people in the comments would make fun of the black community and say, well, what about black on black crime? They only march when it's police brutality, but they don't march when it's black on black crime. We should be out there protesting against black on black crime because that's a huge issue. A lot of the deaths that happen in the black community is because another black person killed another black person. Black women are jealous of other black women. Black men are jealous of other black men. If they see a black man winning in life and successful and affluent, another black man get jealous and go and kill him. If a black woman is gorgeous and living her best life, another black woman jealous and go and kill. There's a lot of jealousy in the black community, a lot of jealousy and envy. And a lot of these murders stem from that jealousy. It's a huge issue. It's huge. And then we got the other layer of the relationships involved in these domestic violence cases in the black community. So I'm with Hope. I think that we need to all as a community start protesting against black on black crime. We do. Because we need to show we care about all black lives in all situations, not just when a police unalives a black person. And I'm with Electric. Thank you, love. Electra says, all humans need to stand up for Shanquella. Exactly. We should not overlook or accept violence of any woman anywhere. I agree with you on that, love. It doesn't matter what color they are. That's true. The only reason why I'm mentioning black on black crime, love, is because that's the ethnicity of this young lady here. But I talk about on this channel all ethnicities because I love all people. I'm a lover of all people. I'm not discriminatory of anyone because I don't believe ethnicity should matter. I believe that lives should matter and people all are valuable. So I agree with Electra on this. Electra St. John says, let's come together as we did for George Floyd and the other victims of violence. Exactly. That's what this channel is all about. Victims of all ethnicities, backgrounds, genders. It's not just one. My channel is not a black channel. So I want people to know that it's an all ethnicity channel. So on this channel, you'll get stories about all kinds of ethnicities. I don't care what the person looks like. I just care about what happened to them. So thank you, Electra, for clarifying that, my love. Hope says Biden and Trump need to retire, period. Okay, they do. They both just old and outdated. Go sit down somewhere. I feel like there needs to be an age limit. I'm sorry. Because some of these people, and it needs to be, again, there needs to be a health evaluation and a competency evaluation for anybody running for president, because that is a huge role. That is huge. That is huge. It's a matter of life and death of American citizens about who is our president. Because if they don't have, what if they have a mental health problem and they over here, they don't know how to think rationally or make rational decisions. They'll go out there and make a conflict with Russia or China or Japan or somewhere. And now we in a World War III because we had an incompetent president who was impulsive and didn't know how to speak right. So I'm like, they make it so easy for anybody to just run for president. It's like, make it make sense. Okay. Hi, Alicia. I missed you, girl. Air hug. I'm giving you a virtual hug, girl. I gotta give my hug. I missed my girl. Alicia is in the house. We love our Alicia. Let me do a little celebratory party for Alicia because I missed her a lot. Let me do it. Girl, let's do some music. Hey. Our little celebration music for Alicia. Welcome back, girl. Alicia says, people are talking down on the mom again. Leave the mom alone. Yeah, we're not talking down on the mom, my love. I was, during the video, sweetheart, I did got to give the perspective of the father, and there is a divide between the two family members. So I wanted to clarify that and give his point of view and his perspective because he is a father to Shanquella, and he deserves to to have his voice heard. He deserves to, us talk about his feelings too. So I'm not talking about the mom. I'm not talking about anybody in this case. They're all victims, guys. They lost their daughter. So I just show love to all of them. I'm not trying to show judgment. And I'm glad Alicia said that, because I can clarify again that if anybody misunderstood what I said earlier, that is not my intent to talk down upon the mom or the sister or the father. I feel so sad for them, and I express my empathy and love to them. I just wanted everyone to know each side and know what's really going on, in my opinion, because the father appears to feel like he's left out and he's not excluded, and he's the one that's saying, not me. He has said from his own mouth that he was kicked out of everything, and that he doesn't know what's going on, and that he only gets to watch things on social media. So this is not coming from me. This is coming from his own words. You guys heard his voice himself. I'm just over here reiterating what he said. I don't know what's going on with the family, and I don't, quite frankly, I'm not going to judge anybody. I don't know what they're going through. Okay, I don't know what's going on with that family. I'm just saying the father feels left out. He does. He's not included in a lot of things, and it's very sad, and I feel empathy for him. I feel really bad for him. Sandra says, I think the Robinson family might think about offering a reward in Mexico and the U.S. to help facilitate, get more evidence. That's why. Right, they're going to have to do something, because, Mexico really does not care about this American citizen. They really don't. And they just want to make it look like they care, because all they're going to say is, oh, we sent everything to the American officials. They're the one not doing anything. But in reality, behind closed doors, they really don't care. And they're actually pretty happy. Right? It should be an age limit, and a mental health evaluation should be done, because these people out here, just anybody being president, and they don't look like they really know what they're doing. I'm just saying. Okay. Mom of 3 kids. Hi, mom of 3 kids. She said, I cannot believe what's happening to this family. Sending love. Right. Sending love. Yes. To this beautiful family. Apart and above says, oh, wow. Thanks for the compliment, Queen. Yes, girl. You are anointed, girl. You sister Holy Ghost. We love you, girl. We love you. Thank you, and welcome to the family. I don't know if I've seen you before in any chat, so welcome. Yes, we love our Alicia. Alicia is the GOAT. We love that girl. Love her, love her, love her. A woman of wisdom as well. Hope Coffee says, I feel for Miss Robinson. I lost a child 30 years ago. I'm sorry, Hope Coffee. Oh my gosh, you lost a kid. And you never forget, and you never forget my son didn't die like Shanquella, but when a child dies before you, it's painful. Dang, that is so sad. Let's extend our condolences to Hope. I think Apart also said she lost a child too. If I'm not mistaken. Was it you? Was it you, Apart, that said that, or somebody else? Somebody else in the chat. If I'm wrong, sorry, Apart. Somebody else said it in the chat earlier. Yeah, Hope Cuffy says that she's praying for justice will happen soon. Yeah, we're gonna have to keep praying, y'all. I know a lot of you guys in the chat are Bible believing spiritual people, so we're gonna need y'all to just pray, man. Pray. Lakeisha says the dad is such a sweet older man. He is, isn't he? He deserves a voice too. I know, guys. I just feel sorry for him, Lakeisha. That's why I feel like his voice needed to be heard during this video. So we kind of really wanted to look in between the lines to really feel what he was communicating. Not to bash the mom and not to bash the sister. It's just we need to hear his voice too. He has a side and he deserves to be heard too. So, and I feel really sad for him. I really do. I can't express enough how sad I feel for the dad, man. It's heartbreaking because when he said he got kicked out of everything, he doesn't know what's going on. And he refers to Sue and Ben as their attorney, not his attorney. It just makes it clear to me that he doesn't feel included. It's so sad. Poor dad. I thought it was him. I thought that he was the one that was, that Southern father that wants to do things his own way. And, a lot of men, they kind of want to be independent. They got that pride about them and that dignity about them that they want to be able to do things their own way and not have any help. But he said in that interview that they kicked him out, y'all. That's what he said in his own words. So that was pretty sad. Anna says, I wish that these 6 people could face justice. Me too. Another person, oh no, she said she lost a child 35 years ago. Oh no, sorry, Anne. Anna lost a kid. Hope lost a kid. This is sad. I couldn't imagine how her poor mother feels. Oh man, you guys who have lost kids understand the pain that she's going through. Is it hard, Anna and Hope, every Mother's Day? Hi, Aria. Hi, love. I wonder though, maybe you guys can give us your perspective on this because a lot of us may not understand what a grieving mother goes through. Hope and Anna, during Mother's Day or Father's Day or whatever, I don't know, genders, are you often reminded every year of the loss of your child? Does that bring back the memory of the loss? And is it like you're grieving all over again every Mother's Day or Father's Day? Oh, that is sad if that's the case. Man, it's like a reminder every year that you're missing that child. That's I wonder if that's what happens, because it feels like that's what Shanquella's mom was going through this past Mother's Day. I felt sad for her because she went to her daughter's grave during Mother's Day. So that was pretty sad. I think Anna said yes. I don't know if she's saying yes to that or something else. But she said, God, yes. Sad, man. Aria says they should get letters to the local sheriff's office to apprehend, arrest the couple 6 or post their pictures in the post office and make them federal fugitives. Yeah, they can't do that unless there's certain steps that have to be followed before that can happen. So the state's attorney has to file the petition to the magistrate, the judge. The judge has to evaluate the evidence and find that it is sufficient evidence to constitute a crime. And then the judge would issue an arrest warrant. And then that's when the sheriff would have the authority to go out and arrest. But without that arrest warrant, the sheriff can't do anything. So that's the problem. The whole issue has stopped at the state's attorney's office. They have failed to do anything at this point. Lakeisha says, didn't the dad actually start the investigation? Now he's out. Right, Lakeisha. He's the one that went out there and paid to get Shanquella back home. He's been in communication with the Mexican individuals at the morgue and other people like that. And then he gets kicked out. That's what he said in the interview. That's so sad, y'all, man. If y'all didn't see that part of the interview, go back and watch the beginning of the live. And you'll hear him say that he felt, the reporter asked him about whether the meeting or the conference in Washington was going to happen. And he said he didn't know, that he gets his information from the news and that they kicked him out. So that was sad. That's so sad. Okay, Hope says, yes, and their birthday and the day he passed. Oh, no. So she got to be reminded 3 days of the year. Oh, that is terrible. I am so sorry, Hope. And you can see these 2 individuals in the chat have lost their child over 30 years ago. And yet it never goes away, guys. The pain never goes away. And now that Hope is saying she has to be reminded 3 times a year. So that's probably what Salamandra's going through. That helps us understand the extent of grief Salamandra has to go through, Mr. Robinson has to go through, and probably the sister has to go through. That is very sad, y'all. Oh my gosh. Anna says, I have 2 other children and can't show your pain until you're alone with your thoughts. Okay, thank you for sharing that, Anna, because we have some other bloggers out there judging the family about not crying. I'm like, oh my gosh, leave these people alone. If anything, only thing we could do is show empathy to the family. We do not know what's going on except for what they share. Okay? Because look what Anna said. Anna said that you can't show your pain until you're alone with your thoughts. That's sad. That one part is always missing. Their birthday is HELL. Sometimes I can't even breathe. I pray for you. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, Anna. Guys, let's keep Hope, Cuffy, and Anna in our prayers, you guys, because you know that they really do. We need to band together and pray for our sisters in Christ who lost children also. But let's also pray for this family, guys. Let's try to make sure we show support and be consistent in our support for this family, because it's going to be a long road to get any form of justice. I really hope they go ahead and sue. They need to do that civil lawsuit. I don't know why they haven't done the civil lawsuit. What's going on with that? Why they have held off on that? That is another question that I have, y'all. so we can figure that out. But for now, that is the end of the updates for Shanquella Robinson's case. Y'all let me know what you guys think about all the updates that we've heard. Do you think there's some type of divide going on between the mom and the dad? Because the father seems to think so, and he feels he's kicked out. Do you think that stemmed from some type of disagreement they might have had? I don't know. Right, like Alicia said, I bet Dejanay and Elise won't go clubbing again. Girl, they probably will. Girl, because Dejanay was the one that started that fight. Dejanay is aggressive. She's a bully, in my opinion. Those girls are mean girls. They'll probably go out again because they're ready to fight. They want to fight. They want to start that fight in the first place. Allegedly. That's what witnesses are saying. I don't know if you just came in, Alicia, girl. If you did, watch the video from the beginning, girl, because there was some details about that fight that happened, and it didn't happen as what we initially thought. Allegedly, people are saying Dejanay was the aggressor, and she started this whole thing in the first place. So her little aggressive patterns are still rearing its ugly head, even after she allegedly unalived Shanquella. Okay. Ooh, Anna said that she's seen videos and she don't think people will let it go. Girl, they probably will not. And I will post that video in the chat or in the comments. I think I already posted it, but I'm going to post it once again in the comments, guys, of the fight. Wait, sorry. Why did I put that there, y'all? I was trying to, how do I don't know how I can copy that text. I probably can't. Oh, well, I'll post that same comment link into the comment section of the live. So if you want to see the video of the fight without all of the logos that North Carolina B puts on his videos, then you'll have that if you want to see it. You guys know I cannot play it on here because YouTube, but that video is actually more clear of the actual fight, guys. It's a clearer video. Okay. All right. I love y'all. Have a lovely Sunday. Happy Sunday, you guys. God bless you all. Take care.